What it do, YouTube? We are back with another Off the Plizzank. Glad to see y'all here with us tonight, man. Gonna have a great episode. We got some dope people, man, backstage, man. Some 15 minutes of lame contestants. They're pretty funny too. They're definitely a funny couple. Funny couple. I like them, man. They're real upbeat, real dope. But before we get further into that, I had to check in with my fam one time. How y'all feeling, family?
Good.
Living life, bro. Living life.
For sure. Banner, you gonna talk tonight? Banner, you gonna talk tonight?
Excited for tonight's episode. What do you mean?
Oh, there we go. No, I need 1 kg.
Yeah,
1 kg.
That's gonna be a New Year's resolution.
Facts. When KG tap in, KG might have something to say to you. So I just want to make sure you're talking tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make sure that you're
It'll
good
be all right.
and you're not getting in trouble. You know how that goes. Will it be all right? If you say so. Man, but anybody had any exciting things going on, Anything going on so far in the week or anything that happened in the last week?
Working on sending out my last snakes for the year.
Okay. Getting that last minute shipping in and all that good stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
To the southern states now.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Hold on. Gotta give it a cameo real quick.
Bring the homie out.
I felt like he was missing something.
Look. Oh man. Hey bro, I ain't gonna lie.
Little nigga started pecking me.
Yeah.
That might be the coolest thing ever, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Hey man, this was definitely a goal. I think I said it like originally when I first got into him. I said, look, I need to train one to sit on my shoulder, and that was
look at it, bro. That's dope. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. That's dope. I'm low key kind of jealous
People
now,
sleep
bro.
on indoor chickens.
Man.
Yeah, I see. I'm kind of jealous now, bro. I kind of want my own.
Go for it.
Yeah, but I'm not keeping that in the house. I'm not keeping that in the house. That man got a domesticated chicken. I'm not even rocking with that right now. But I don't think I'm even ready for that at all. I'm good with just the rats, the bearded dragons, the crested geckos, and the snakes. But before we get further into tonight's episode, man, let me go ahead and run those sponsorship ads. So, we can handle paying some bills. Yeah. Shout out to Grey Rider Reptiles, one of the leading share testing brands in this hobby. As well as breeders of the ball python community, they have numerous tests ranging from the yellow belly morph to morphs like sunset and are growing every day. If you're wanting to find out the genetics of your ball python, just send it in to Grey Rider Reptiles and they'll take care of it. Their website is www.sharetesting.com. Let them know that I sent you. You. Hey man, shout out to the unofficial sponsor of the channel, K Joseph. Rising B-list celebrity in this hobby, KG got that all-around great knowledge, and he's also a great guy. If y'all aren't in the Patreon, it's a problem. And as always, it ain't a project unless you put a bomb in it. Oh yeah, and make sure you send the link. Shout out to BNS Reptilia, distributor of coconut substrate The Chipper and their premium coconut substrate Cocoa to Go. BNS prides themselves on immaculate customer service and always putting their customers first. You can reach BNS Reptilia on Instagram for your substrate needs. Tell them that I referred you. And once again, thank you for being a sponsor, BNS. We appreciate you. Do you, my friend, believe in the spirit of HRA? I'm sorry. Prophecy, I had to shout you out on that one.
That joint is
Yeah.
hilarious.
I got some other honorable mentions. I finally got my cutting board, so shout out to Vinny.
All right.
Shout out to Vinny, man. Shout out to Vinny. Bone Daddy Serpents? Bone Daddy Serpents, yeah. Shout out to Vinny, man. He finally got me my own cutting board. So I'm now in the cool kids game with the cutting board for my egg cuttings and stuff like that.
And also, way to point your finger.
Yeah. And also,
Am I the only person that noticed you was putting the secret sauce on that cocoa?
Who?
If you look at the video, it looked like you was pissing on your cocoa block, man.
No, bro. That was definitely water from the hose outside.
Like that stream is too perfect.
That's crazy. I literally, I'm trying to think of how I even came up with. Oh no, man, my girlfriend. So I was recording it. She was recording it, and she just. And I think I zoomed in a little bit.
TMI. Next.
She was recording me hosing down the block, bro. Like what? Yo, y'all, this is a PG-13 show, okay? Y'all are really rated on right now. Family, please. It's definitely a family. Whatever. But no, I just wanted to let the chat know, man. I appreciate everything y'all do. We are monetized now, so we can't send super chats. Y'all, like what we doing and want to support the show and keep us going and driving, man. Help us pay some bills. We'll definitely appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't, we're still just glad that you tuned in with us. We don't mind it at all. But before we bring out the guests, let me go ahead and say hello to everybody that's in the room. So we're going to go ahead and have Banner go ahead and let us know who's all here. You did. And I seen what y'all said about them hats. What's good, Silent Assassin James Perry? What's popping? Chris, the sponsor. What's good, bro? Appreciate you tapping in, my brother, as always.
I need to get some more.
Yeah, what's good, Keys? What up? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Y'all make sure y'all tapping into that Whiskey Bomb Network, man. Definitely show the brother some love. What's good, Nikki? Nikki's on that network as well. Y'all make sure y'all show Nikki some love too. Brian Double Dipping, what's good, B?
What up?
We got the second James. All City Serpent, what's good, bro? Appreciate you for tapping in. Brandon Double Dipping. We got James again. Y'all please make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Appreciate. We gotta, make sure that YouTube keeps us in the algorithm. So y'all keep hitting them with that like button. Sammy, what's good? Pink Panther. We had Sammy on here last week. Y'all didn't catch that. It was last week, right? Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. If y'all didn't catch that episode, please make sure y'all catch that episode, man. Sammy was showing off some dope snakes, man. What up? We got Chris from 319. We're up to, I think Chris is in the running for the 15 minutes of lame as well. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and vote for these folks every day, huh?
I think his name's Will.
Well, Chris, I don't know. I can't remember. Look, it's so many people that remember. I just know 319. When I see it, 319. I apologize if I messed up your name, brother, but I do.
Darren.
I got a lot of names for
Darren. That's his new name. I forgot.
Look at you, Darren. Man, you moving mad fast. You don't
like
Darren today?
You want to do it?
You don't like Darren today? I was trying to address Darren and these off the plank heads that y'all want me to bring y'all so bad. I'm just messing with you, bro. I'm sorry. It's Tuesday. I'm a little hype. I'm happy for I'm just really excited for the guests. I'm not trying to rush through the show. I don't want everybody to say that I'm rushing through the comments. But they be telling me that I be rushing through the show when I do that. So that's why I don't want to fly through the comments.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What up? What up, Big Bosa? What up? What's we got? Yeah. We can do like 2 more. We can do 2 more so we can bring the special guests out. Raj, what's good? Raj is definitely supporting, man. He's been watching all the episodes too. I just want y'all to know that he hits me up and let me know that he watches all the episodes and he know all of y'all by name too. So Banner, that's
way he let us know.
Raj. What's good, man? Special guest in the building.
And Craig.
What's up? We got Craig. What's good, Craig? Appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Python Prince, what's good, man?
And Josh.
Who else we got? Morphix Exotic, what's good? Bond Squad, that Bond Squad. Make sure y'all get into that Patreon if y'all not in that Patreon. Exactly.
So his name is Chris.
So blame Banner, bro. Don't blame me. I knew what the name. Now you got me over here all like discombobulated talking about Will. His name Will. You must have got Will confused. You got 419 confused with 319. Yeah.
That's not his name, is it?
I
God,
think so.
let's not argue on the air right now.
Well, you know, that's why you're my sister. I love you, man. But yeah, man. So, but it's all good. I ain't gonna do you like that. I ain't gonna embarrass you on them folks on the internet because you know that'll be out there for everybody to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, you feel a little sense. But nah, before we get any further, man, we gotta bring this dope couple out, man. You know, they hail from I think they're in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? That explains the colors, you know what I'm saying? That you know, even
All the
though
orange in the background, the big
yeah,
T.
you know, I like the orange, you know what I'm saying? You know, we orange fans over here, but
Yeah, we are.
I don't know about the Tennessee being a Tennessee fan because you know y'all in the SEC and I'm a Georgia Bulldog all day, baby. But you know, just had to let you know. Oh nah, Gators ain't doing nothing either. But nah, nah. But man, y'all please welcome to the stage. Give a big warm welcome to Josh and Alicia of Herpin Harbins. Man, I appreciate y'all. Clap.
Hey, go Vols! We bleed it, man. We bleed orange.
Thanks
How
for
y'all
having us,
feeling?
guys.
For sure,
problem.
for sure.
Thanks for coming
Anytime,
out.
man. Definitely thank y'all for coming out, man. Definitely thank y'all for coming out. Let me get
So
this
you're a
screen
Georgia
situated.
fan?
Yeah, I live in
Georgia
Atlanta.
Bulldog?
I live in Atlanta. You know you know it. It
Oh,
ain't roll
geez.
tide.
You
It ain't
know,
roll tide.
We can hear the fireworks going off at Neyland Stadium from our house, so we're close. We like
Nice.
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Love
man.
Although
it.
we're
Hey,
usually at the game if we can be.
Yeah.
So,
We go
yeah,
down tailgate. It's
yeah.
yeah. I bet you you talking about Ohio. Oh, boo.
Oh, no,
But
no, no.
nah,
Let's not even go there.
That's
No.
the only stuff I watch.
they don't even have a strong division. I don't even know why they're acting like that. They're not even built like the SEC at
No.
all. So
No, they're
it's all,
not.
A lot of
We're
it's
just
all
going
good.
to have to go into their house and whoop it, you know, because I think we should have had home field advantage for playoffs, but because we wanted to go to the game, obviously, but it is what it is.
No. Hey man,
That
you gotta make a
fits.
trip. Make it a trip.
We
Make it a
should.
trip. You know, it might be worth it. I like watching y'all. By the way, y'all the little snippets and reels that y'all make when y'all take these little road trips. Y'all are funny. Oh my god, y'all are hilarious.
we're pretty lame. I think we fit right into
We're
the
about as lame
competition.
as it gets. They're
Yeah.
old lame people.
But before we get really into it, so for those that are new to the channel or that are tapping into the channel, you know, on YouTube and you know might catch this later on, go ahead and let everybody know who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing this whole reptile journey, and we'll keep going from there.
We're Josh and Alicia Harbin. We're the Herpin Harbins. And we started about 6 years ago, started following in Dad's footsteps with hognose. And a few years after that, we got into some ball pythons. So we're fairly new to the game, but we've had pet reptiles since we were little kids. And actually, when I started dating this girl, she had an aquarium in her room, and there was a albino corn snake in there. And I was like, where'd you get that albino corn snake? Because I know a guy, my dad,
Yeah.
who breeds those.
Yeah. My parents had bought an amelanistic, if you say it right. I like to correct him all the time. Amelanistic corn from the veterinarian in the neighboring town, which was Dr. Harbin.
Hang on.
And are we froze up again? We may have to move.
That's good. They can still hear. Yeah, I think they had technical. The story was about to get juicy.
Yeah, it was.
They'll be
Story
right
was
back.
about to get good. I think they froze up for a second, y'all. Give us a second. They come back in. There they go.
Hey, sorry.
Sorry about
There you-
that.
Yeah, we may end up
Nah,
having
you
to move
good.
in a different room. We just stayed in here because we thought we could show animals if we needed to. But anyway, my parents got that snake for me. It was about 7 years before Josh and I even met. And he's actually still alive. He's 29 years old. Has cataracts, and I have to like kind of put the mouse in front of him and
He
everything.
can't see, but he doesn't miss a meal.
Yeah, he still eats good.
Wow.
And so it's kind of a funny story.
That's old.
So how did you notice he had cataracts?
If you look at him, he is just completely, you look at the pupil, it's just whited out completely. And he can sense where I'm at, but he cannot strike anymore. Like I have to literally just kind of put it right in his face. And he's probably, I guess it was about 5 years ago, I started noticing he's getting a haziness in his eyes. And I was like, you know, he's developing cataracts. And now it's almost whited out, just, you know, completely whited out eyes.
He gets the AARP discount on the mice, though.
Yeah.
He's using those senior benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
they don't
crazy.
they don't have like heat sensors or heat pits or anything like that.
I mean, he's still, I feel like he still can, no, they don't have pits. So they are a little bit more visual than ball pythons. And so, but at this point he can smell when I try to keep his mouth pretty hot as I go in there. So he's got a good heat. He's got the smell more than anything, but then a lot of times I'll just touch it to his mouth and he just opens his mouth and grabs it. He's gotten really lazy in his old age because I just basically hand feed him now.
I want to come back as her corn snake. Like, he's got it made.
Yeah, and I
That's
even sometimes I'll
crazy.
pick him up and put him at his water bowl and let him drink his water, and then it means he's geriatric. So
He's got the best
Oh, wow.
enclosure in the house.
Yeah,
That'd be like
29
senior
years
snake
old.
care.
That's dope. I
yeah,
don't
he
even
actually
think-
sleeps like 3 feet away from me. Like he's always been in my bedroom ever since I've had him. So that's where he'll stay, until he's gone.
You ever been woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of a corn snake taking a crap?
Nah,
pretty bad.
what does that even sound? What does that even sound
A
like?
lot of gas.
There's no questioning what's happening. Like, that's a distinct sound. Like, yep.
So how was it the first
Yeah.
time you heard it?
Yeah.
How was it the first time you heard it? Because I know
Oh,
the first time
it
I heard
scared you,
Paul-
didn't it?
It startled me. I was like, okay, this is how
Yeah.
this is going to be.
I was used to it. I
Yeah.
mean, he'd been around for a long time with me, but I guess Josh may have thought it was me doing that. I'm like, no, it's not me. It's the snake. I don't make those kind of sounds.
Oh,
Chris
man.
said he got a corn snake and you can see it's lazy like that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I would have
they're
never
lazy.
thought that. Aren't they the same ones that roll over and play dead?
Those are hog
That's
nose.
hog
The hog
nose.
nose play
That's hog
dead.
noses. That's hog noses.
Yeah, they're
corn
more
snake-
intense for sure. Oh,
That's
there's
crazy.
Ro.
What's good, Ro? Hey, Ro.
So
Yeah, we've made a lot of fun clips with the ink lady morphs. They're funny.
Yeah, I follow
pretty
them
funny,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want one. Definitely want one. So y'all
Yeah,
decided
that's
to
crazy.
stick with the corn snakes, or did you go a different species? Like, what's
Well, I mean, the corn is just like my pet forever. We do have corn snakes now, but we actually didn't even start breeding corn snakes until about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mainly because it requires a permittation in the state of Tennessee for propagation, which isn't a big deal, but we weren't going to invest a bunch of money and hassle for something that wasn't our main focus, because our main focus at the time was still hognose, and then we had the ball python starting up at that point. And then once we decided to get some corn snakes, we were like, propagation permit isn't that big a deal. And we've had some really good times, like at some shows that the corn snakes carried us, you know? And so, it's been kind of nice. Now this year we did not have a huge corn number. We basically didn't pair very many. And then Tom only paired one pair. That's all he had left. And so we only had that clutch, thank God, because with everything that happened, we would have just been losing our minds, because those corn snakes will triple clutch sometimes on you. And so, you have one female and all of a sudden you've got, 40 eggs to deal with. And it's like, what the hell have we just done? And so
You got to commit to it if you're going to pair the colubrids.
yeah. And we'd already had planned over brumation last year. We went from we only had 4 hognose adults, females, breeding adult females the year before. We would jumped up to 11. And of course they can double clutch. And so you can have, small clutch of hogs for us is like 9. And then we can have up to like 22.
That's what all these racks are behind us.
Those are all hognose babies.
Like this was the first hognose rack, and then we had to upgrade to this
There's
one.
a whole nother wall over here of hog noses. And so when you start talking about that many babies from one pairing, you kind of have to, be prepared for a lot of mouths. And we just did not want to have a bunch of corns to feed. So
What's really handy though is that's how big of a cup you need for a juvenile hognose and corn snake. So you can pack more in a smaller area, and they crush food in these small tubs. You put them in something bigger than this, they won't eat.
Yeah.
So they're a burrowing
Oh, wow.
species, so they want like a small thing. So this is good for like almost
almost a year,
a
really.
year, first year of their life.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah, I was
that's very interesting. And you would have put it in a 50-40.
Yeah.
That is a 50-40. That's interesting though.
Straight into a 4x2.
Yeah. Little
So
tiny sandwich boxes.
So with the hog noses, they colubrids. So they do more like live births, right? Or the eggs?
No,
too?
they're still eggs. They're still eggs.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're eggs.
Yeah.
It's 22 eggs. That's a lot of eggs. That's a lot.
It's a lot of eggs. It is a lot. And the thing is with the hognose that people a lot of times don't realize, the females are 2 to 3 times larger than the males and significantly larger in some cases. We had one female that was like 420 grams. It's a huge female hognose, by the way, that we paired to one of our smaller boys who was right at 50 grams. And so if you think about the size difference, they're obligate eaters, meaning they'll just turn around and eat the male. And so you can lose your males during breeding season. And then the other thing is they'll eat their own eggs. They'll come out of their little oxytocin trance after they've laid their eggs. And then they're like, crap, I'm hungry. And they'll just poke around and there's an egg and they just start eating. They'll eat their entire clutch.
We've had that happen.
You know, it's just like they're all
Our
gone.
Xanthic girl ate her entire clutch last year.
Yeah. And you can tell a difference when you come in because you know that they're due to lay. And then they've got their body shape that you're used to. And then all of a sudden you come in one day and you're like, everything's shifted forward in a bulge. And you're like, what have you done? You've eaten all your freaking eggs. And so
like
then they have these like egg poos. Yeah. The egg poo comes out like 2 or 3 days later. So you're confirmed that's what they did. So you have to be really kind of on top of the hogs or you'll lose males or you lose your eggs. And so it's a lot.
That's interesting.
I
was gonna ask when it comes to pairing them, is it similar to ball python, like how we pair like once a month, or is it more so one time, one and done?
So what will happen is they're in brumation right now. So we've got them all in a refrigerator or wine cooler type situation that's running about 52 to 54 degrees. So they're shut down for almost 3 months. When we bring them out of brumation, I feed immediately. And then within a week and a half, I start pairing and I pair once a week. And sometimes we do not see locks. Sometimes it's so fast that you don't see it. And I will not leave the male in more than 12 hours because if they've locked, they're probably done. And he's on one end of the tub and she's on the other. And I don't want him to get eaten. So we actually pair very frequently, that like once a week, maybe for 3 pairings. And then you're done. And then you don't pair anymore. You don't have to. Yeah. I hear people talk about stopping the ability for them to double clutch. You're not going to stop them by not pairing them. We never repair ours after they've had their first clutch. And we almost have 80% second clutches on our females, and they're fertile eggs. Oftentimes, sometimes even a better number on the second clutch as far as fertilization.
Those boys are little guys. They can't service too many females. So, I mean, you're looking at maybe pairing them to 2 females.
Yeah. You've got to have a lot of males for hognose.
They will exhaust themselves. They will keep trying.
Oh wow. It'll probably straighten up. Y'all don't got to leave. I know it froze on our end, but it'll probably.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. Maybe it'll come back in a second. But yeah, the hognose is a whole different game. Like, we don't ultrasound them. It's all very cyclic and time driven. And so that's why the brumation tells us when we're going to be able to pair them. And then we pretty much know once they have a shed, like we don't wait for what we call an ovulation shed. We actually just monitor for copulation. Sometimes we get lucky and actually see it happen. And then all of a sudden they will swell up and they keep eating. They do not stop eating. I will feed some of my hognose girls the day that they're laying their eggs. And I actually try to feed them so that they're kind of full, or they will eat things. And so that's kind of, it's so different. And once they've actually laid their eggs, I will actually go ahead and feed them again.
Okay. How about some maybe?
Have you ever noticed any of them have a partho clutch?
No, I've never seen any partho in these guys. And I haven't heard of anybody seeing partho. And I think that may be something different between the colubrids, because you think of how many corn snakes have been bred out there. And we haven't really heard of people talking about, parthogenesis and corns. And so it's definitely not something that we have noticed in the hognose either. And I don't know why. Like, why are the ball pythons, like we had a partho clutch? We hear people having partho clutches all the time.
There's also 50,000 ball pythons for sale on North Market.
There's a lot more.
And only like 5,000 hogs. So I think it's just a matter of numbers. There's more people experimenting with balls.
Yeah, but it's definitely not as common in the colubrids. So
That makes
That's
sense.
interesting.
yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a different species to kind of all. What's nice though, like all of our adult hogs and subadults, I don't usually put subadults in for brumation, but with everything we have going on this year, I need a break from all these little faces, and so we put about 150 hognose into brumation, so they're just in the wine cooler for 3 months. I don't have
You
to
get a
deal with
break,
them.
yeah.
Like done. And like
Right.
the big hognose breeders that don't deal with any other species during their holiday time, they don't have any snakes to deal with. They actually put all their babies and everything in brumation, and they'll pull a baby out if somebody wants to buy it. They'll warm it up, feed it, and then ship it out. And they don't do anything for like 3 months. I'm like, well, that's smart. But so we're still working the ball python, so it doesn't really benefit us to like shut everybody down.
I'm over here having a hard time focus. I am super jealous of
The
that
chicken?
bird. That is so cool.
Yeah, how in the world? That is awesome. Look at it.
It keeps biting me, man. It keeps plucking me.
So how
Look
old
at
is
that.
it? Is it still got its
So all the white feathers coming in on it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got some white feathers coming in.
That's cool.
Like
That's pretty
He
cool.
texted us the other day and told us that bird scared the crap out of him because he walked into his son's room and it
How old is this
flew
bird? I
off
think
of
this
the
bird,
top
like-
of the
Huh.
coat rack or
Oh,
something
yeah, he
instead of it
flies
being
up
in
there.
its
She
pen.
gets up on top of my curtain rod, and then when I come down, I look in the tub. She's not, or he. I don't know what it is. It's
Yeah.
not there. And then all of a sudden, I cut the turn, and then it flies straight at me and scare the heck out of me every time.
That's cool.
That's crazy. That is nice.
Yeah, I don't think that's safe. I don't think that's too safe.
I don't either.
I
It's
don't-
weird. It's weird.
I don't think that's too safe. But so y'all were doing the hard noses and the corn snakes. So how did you get into the whole ball python game?
You know, honestly, it was his dad for the most part. Of course, we were going to shows at that point.
Well,
and
we made the first rule is like we said,
yeah.
we're never
we're
getting
never
into ball
going to breed ball
pythons.
pythons. Blah blah blah.
Here we are.
Never say never. Never say never.
And
like
and
a
honestly, I
curse.
think probably what got us, and this is going to be shocking for you based on our color theme, but the dreamsicle is what pulled us into the ball python.
Orange and white, baby. Orange and white snakes.
And then when I started researching it, I said, oh man, this is where the genetics are, because the hognose are fairly simple. Not that they're easy, but they're fairly simple. It's a lot of recessive genes that are fairly easily identifiable. And after you put like 3 or 4 things together, you just get a pink snake anyway. So it's not like it's that complex. And there's technically 2 big codoms in hognose. There's 2 newer ones that haven't been utilized a lot. But again, it's very, very easy genetics. And it wasn't really challenging for me. And then when I started researching ball pythons, I was like, holy cow, honey, there's so much stuff we could do. And there's things that have never been done. And then he was like, what the heck is wrong with you? I don't want to make it even harder than it already is.
It's like checkers versus chess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so that's what sucked me in. And then Josh, apparently, that bird is awesome.
What is happening, Brandon? I'm sorry. What is happening with the bird, Brandon?
The bird is up here picking the camera?
I have no idea what's going on. I just like,
your camera now.
bro, your bird is very animated, bro. That is pretty dope.
Bird is pecking y'all's hat. On the
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
but
I'm
then
sorry.
we jumped in. Like, I remember we were helping his dad clean a few years ago, doing some stuff, and Josh had always been kind of standoffish about the ball pythons. He's like, it's just so much to have to figure out, blah, blah, blah. I was like, but there's some really pretty stuff. And he comes around the corner because I'm outside in the tub section. And he holds up this super inchy pastel DG female. And
I've never seen anything like it.
She's just glowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And as soon as I saw his eyes light up, I'm like, I guess we're in DG project now. And so then it snowballed after that. And so DG clown, and, we're putting DG, we're starting to pair stuff with the Monarch, Monarch DG is what we want to get down the way. And so it kind of got crazy. And then his dad was super stoked when he saw Josh, like, love the DG stuff. And so and then anytime, if you take Josh through a collection and he's like pointing at something, it's DG or
DG.
enhancer, either one. I mean, that's just what he points at. So.
That's dope.
That's
So I'm assuming you DG heavy over there, then, huh?
So someone said that their hog nose, they have 3 of them. and they are very spicy.
Oh, Blake, just pick it up, Blake. Come
Guys
on.
are scared to death of hognose. It is a fact.
It is not going to bite you. I'm going to get all over him for that. They are
So-
spicy,
I
and
I
they'll
hear
hiss
you
and
DJ,
boo
say-
he
you.
knows.
They
I
won't
know-
bite you for fear. Just
seen
pick up
so
the
many-
snake.
It's so
It might
many
take you out.
videos of hognose actually like chewing people's fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm.
It's the slowest bite you will ever receive because say you got your hand here. They'll come over like kind of poke and kind of nudge like they're testing you to see how soft you are, and then they just slide
kinda
their mouth on
yeah.
and they got you.
Yeah. And then they won't let go. I mean, you have to pluck them off. I use my fingernails, but we teach people how to use our business card. We actually have business cards that are plastic. So we teach them how to slide it under there like a,
That's why we got the.
you know, like Jimmy in a lock with a credit card. You just shove it in there and it pops those rear fangs off because the fangs are 1 to 2 millimeters. They're tiny. They're not huge fangs, but they will latch and crunch and then just hold on. They're waiting for the thing to get subdued because they don't constrict. I learned that early on. I threw a live mouse in that one of the corns didn't take, and all of a sudden I heard all this screaming. I'm like, what is going on? And I opened it, and that hognose was eating it from the back end forward alive, just swallowing it whole, just didn't even give a crap. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, I'm about to look on YouTube and watch hognoses just attack prey items.
So one thing they do that's funny is they will the juveniles will leap out of that tub, but then catch the edge of the tub with their tail and just hang on. It's like they use like a prehensile monkey tail or something.
Yeah.
And they'll just hang out on the edge of the tub, just like looking,
waiting.
So I don't know if in the wild they're like hanging out over puddles or streams or something, looking for minnows or newts or salamanders.
They say they've seen them hanging off like the like cattails and stuff like that on the edge of those swamp areas, and we have to assume they're just grabbing tadpoles. There's a bird right in there, grabbing tadpoles and junk right off the edge of the water, because they'll eat fish. Well, I've given them fish before, and they love
salmon. Holy cow, they love salmon. It's hard to get them off of it though; they get hooked on it.
Yeah.
What do they eat in the wild?
What's that?
What do they eat in the wild?
In the wild, they do eat a lot of amphibians, and also in Texas, they'll eat lizards, like certain types of lizards. But they will still eat mammals. In the eastern part, like eastern hognoses, they're very much more amphibious. But I know, like West Texas, they see tons of them eating small lizards. So
that's a good question.
I find melanistic ones around the house occasionally.
Yes. I'd love to see that.
That'd be cool.
Man, we need to come down to your area because we don't see them here anymore.
We don't have them on this side of the mountain. You go to the other side of the Appalachians, you see more of them, like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia.
But the only ones I've seen are the melanistic.
Yeah, and those are beautiful. Chris is asking a good question. So hognose versus ball pythons. If you have a hognose that once they're established, like once you've got an eater, like it may take you a little time to get one established. They will not stop eating. Like I just don't see them stop eating until it's like a male during brumation season. Just like a male ball python will go off during breeding season, a male hognose will go off during brumation season. And so it's not unusual to see that, but I feel like overall, our hogs eat more consistently than our ball pythons.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So for someone that's just getting into hognose, would you recommend a male or a female?
Well, if it's a pet and somebody wants to be able to handle it, I definitely recommend doing a male because you can handle your males a lot easier. They're less likely to latch onto you. But if you want a power eater, you want your females. And we do have females that won't bite me. But most of our adult females, I cannot handle them unless they've got food in their mouth. I will put food in their mouth. I will feed them, and then I will clean their tub. I'll hold them. You just hold a hognose while they got food hanging out their mouth. They just keep swallowing it. It's not like a ball python.
Start paying attention to the pictures of hognose you see online. They almost always have food in their mouths.
Yeah, because you can't get pictures of them either. And so I think people, if they want to play with the damn snake, they just need to get a male. They should get a male because I can handle my males a lot more. Now they're hissier and they'll boop you and hiss at you.
So
but you
they'll
can get them
also
out and do stuff with them.
they'll face punch you. You
Yeah.
think you're about to get struck and bit, but it's a closed mouth and they just pop you and
With their
pull
little
away.
nose. Yeah. It's
Y'all
a
are
pun.
definitely making
I've watched
me
Snake Discovery, so I've seen.
Yeah.
that.
They're funny. They're funny.
man.
I'll have to
so
send you the
Snake
videos I
Discovery
have of
is-
the ones and how they act around here. One opened its mouth completely wide open like the Terminator.
Yeah.
It just stared at you and did this.
I love this camera action you've got going on. We're having some serious camera stuff happening tonight.
That was dramatic. I like
It
it.
just came like whoosh.
Anyway,
Is that you, God?
But yeah, they will, like, especially if they're playing dead, they'll open mouth full, their tongue will go upside down, and they'll do this like weird slow tongue flicker. They'll flip over on their back. Of course, they musk you, which is horrible. And they'll suck their belly in. It's a weird process to watch. And then you almost kind of they'll look up at you like, are you still there? And then they'll do it again, you know. And so the babies are bad about it, but they usually grow out of it. But those eastern hogs in the wild, they'll do it all their life. And that's just, the wild will do that. So
Brian is having too much fun.
Yeah,
Charlie,
I love
Charlie
that. How
done came.
when he did that with his hands, it just like zoomed in on him.
Oh man,
So
I
funny.
was like, is that you, God? Charlie done peeked in on y'all. Charlie came to say hey. That's crazy.
what morphs are the dominant? You said they only have like 2 dominant and the rest are recessive. What
Yeah. So there's a one gene that's called anaconda, which that's confusing. Trust me, when I have to explain that to pet people, it's very confusing. But basically, it is where the pattern becomes more diffuse and branched, kind of scattered out.
The spot spacing is similar to the spot spacing on an anaconda.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get superconda, and the superconda actually pretty much obliterates the entire pattern on the body. And we can show you some of these. And so that's one group. And then you've got Arctic, and Arctic actually does like highlighting and background lightening, but then a super Arctic gets pattern obliteration. They get almost black and white, contrasty. And so it's a very cool gene to look at. And let me see, do y'all show snakes on here, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah, we do it all.
Podcasts are like weird about that.
Nah, we do it all.
Man, they feed on their cocoa chips on this channel. We can.
That's true. I forgot.
The superconda, that's what got me into it, and that's the hog nose that I want. Like, I'm definitely gonna get one next year.
Damn, look how small those things are. Pause.
So this is normal, like just straight up wild type. You can see it's a brown snake with some yellow background.
It gets bigger than that, don't it?
Yeah, it's a tiny little thing in it. And so then this is Arctic. Do you see how much lighter the background is on the snake? It's just a light background. It's got these white walls on the side. It's just got more highlighting. And this is not the best Arctic in the world, but you can see a difference in that. And let me get you a super Arctic here, Josh.
So are all the bellies like that? Are they all dark?
Some of them are black. I'll show you a black one here in a second. Oh, that's a conda. Let me show them this one. That gets confusing when you start stacking genes on stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So this is a super Arctic.
It made me want to get in there. But I don't know. We can't have those in Georgia.
And see his head pattern is all obliterated. He's very black and white in person, black belly. He's a wicked looking snake. Just the way his pattern is. But that's super Arctic. So that's one of the genes. And then
What else you want to show?
I was gonna get a conda out if I can find one that won't bite me. Oh no, that's
we encourage the biting.
I'm sure you do.
We encourage it.
All right, let's go back to.
They love that. They love that.
No,
All right.
actually
So-
like the audience, like some people are scared of their snakes. Ask DJ.
There's again the normal. Josh, can you hold that snake for me? So you can see how tight the patterning is, how many like dots are on it. And then here is a conda or anaconda. You can see how much the pattern is starting to get spread out, bigger blotching, kind of blurring it out.
So
let's
the
Yeah.
look
other
at
one
that
you
one up.
showed us, the other one you showed us was the super conda, right?
Yeah, I'm going to show you a super
Super's
conda here in
coming
just
up.
a second.
Oh, okay.
Super conda.
Here's
That's,
what this
like
conda.
that's the best one.
I like that. I
Look at
like
the
that conda.
sleeve
The
on that.
conda was dope.
Yeah, look at the belly on that.
Oh, that one's
That's
going to bite me.
yeah, the
What's
belly
kind of
is
weird,
black.
they actually call it anaconda, and then the super form is called super conda. So it's not
Yeah.
really right to say just conda. That's kind
I
of
got
also
the
confusing.
conda and super conda.
DJ to pull
All
out
right,
his
now
phone.
here's the super conda. You see
Pause.
how like it has no pattern on its body. It's still got a head pattern.
Just the head, bro. That's
Just
it.
the head.
Just the head. That's crazy.
And then its body is just blanked out.
Bite your
So that's pretty cool. And that little sucker got me.
There it is.
Did you? Damn, I missed it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like a tiny little bite. Like I've gotten used to getting away from them. But those are the two main codoms, is the Arctic that makes super Arctic and the anaconda that makes super conda. There's something called skull face, which is the dumbest freaking name in the world, but it was somebody over in Europe that did it. And it's kind of like a blanked out, like they've lost their head pattern. And then Jeff Gallwood Jr. of JMG, he had one, I can't think of what they call it. I haven't even seen it yet, but apparently he's found another one that's another head pattern obliteration. But that's it. I mean, as far as, codoms. And so then we're heavy with recessive. Of course, we've got albino, axanthic, but the axanthics stay gray. They don't change. They don't turn brown or anything. The albinos are still heavily worked. It's still a very popular gene, even amongst the breeders, because we use polygenics in it. So we use like red line, purple line to intensify the colors. And then sable, which sounds maybe boring to some ball python people because it's brown, but it's more of a recessive that we tack onto everything, kind of like clown. So clown gets tacked onto everything to add more to it. Well, sable does the same thing, because you take a sable, you put albino together, and you get these really dark, rich oranges that literally stay dark orange their entire life. And then you put axanthic with a sable, and you get these like slate gray and blue snakes that are they're crazy looking. And so those are kind of some of the main ones. There's toffee belly, hypo, and then lavender, which is actually a lavender color.
Lucy's.
There's Lucy's, which are purely white, and they are actually still kind of a high-end snake. They're not made as easily as bells. Lucy is a true recessive in hognose. And, I think even right now, if you wanted to buy a pair of Lucy's, they'd still probably be $6,000 or $7,000. So, I mean, you're still looking at a higher end snake there, and like not really pet level yet. There's some pet people that can buy that. But then we've got Swiss chocolate, which is probably the highest in recessive right now, which is a super, super dark gene, an even more darkening gene than sable. And I'm frozen again, Josh. And the reason it's so high end right now is the guy that discovered it in Switzerland with some imports.
Keep going.
Okay. And so it's just another gene that's being worked, and there's only a few of us in the States that actually have it. And
We've got another camera management app that keeps trying to take over. It's not streaming, so
never had this problem.
I will uninstall that post the broadcast.
Is it because of StreamYard or?
No, it was another camera app we were trying to use so we could use a DSLR camera as a webcam. And I just never uninstalled it, but every time we turn this camera on, it keeps trying to grab control of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's doing some weird camera stuff. I thought it was internet, but it's apparently the camera thing. But so I mean, there's a few other random, like family type traits. They call watermelon and lemon ghost. We work lemon ghost, which is more of a line trait. But there's so much variation between a clutch. It's not really what you would consider a true, codom or anything like that. But it's not as complex. So I mean, it's very, very clear cut to me. But
we pretty much just said every morph out there for hogs. Versus if this was ball pythons, we'd be going on for 30 more minutes saying all the words.
True. Is there a difference between Eastern and Western?
Yeah. Different species. And when you look at Easterns are they're much harder to deal with in captivity because they do prefer amphibians overall. It's very hard to get them onto rodent diets. They don't seem to do as well on rodent diets. They're also a broader, kind of stockier looking snake, and they do have more of like the melanistic colors. And when you see them, they'll also have these like bright oranges and yellows on their side. So they're very beautiful, kind of almost shimmery looking snakes compared to the Western hognose and a completely different species. And that's also one that we had looked into getting because now with our permit, we have to have a permit for them also. But because we have the permit for the corns, it opens us up for whatever that's indigenous here. But then we started reading. I was like, I just don't want something else that's going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. I don't want to have to go and catch newts and freeze them and all that. That's too much work. And so
we're already raising mice, rats, mealworms, crickets, hornworms. It's like it's too many food items.
I was about to say, I was about to say you would have to herp and actually catch those.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah, because you can't find people that supply those as easily for feeders. And then we looked at like raising our own toads, and I'm like, well, that's so seasonal, and that's such a pain to have to deal with too. I'm like, we're just going to avoid that altogether.
Somebody gave us a bucket of tadpoles, and we made a tank with all the stuff that we read up that frogs need. And I think out of probably 500 tadpoles, we raised up 12 frogs successfully.
Yeah, they just it's so much harder. Yeah,
it sounds like a headache. Yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to do that.
Yeah,
they definitely starting your own farm.
Yeah, we'd have to. It's definitely not something we wanted to deal with. And there's a few species out there that I'd like to get into, but I don't want to have to deal with lizards. And I'm like, we'll just
that's a big consideration is the food items. Like how easily can you get what they want to eat?
Yeah,
so that's tough.
Yeah, that's real. So what's the 5 to 10 year plan with the hog noses and all that? Well, the whole business.
Well, we put in the permits to build a bigger facility on our property here, with the ultimate goal of getting all of Dad's creatures up here on our property. Right now, there's about 200 animals still down in Alabama, and half of the rodent colony is still down there. We don't have anywhere to house all that stuff. So hopefully late spring, maybe early summer, we'll have the building ready to move into. We can start trickling things up here. But we love this, and Dad gave us that desire to keep going, and he never gave up, and we don't plan on giving up either. And I could see us doing this into retirement. Like when we go to the snake shows and we see these older couples behind the table, having a good time at it.
Love it. We do, and we do love it. And like with what happened this year, I ended up having to go part-time, which was something I had been looking into. It's hard walking around on the ground with dogs, and my hands are getting hard. It's harder to do surgery, but I wasn't planning on stepping away from vet medicine. I wanted to do relief work. I wanted to work at a clinic part-time and then do relief work the rest of the time. And it now is just me working 2 days at the clinic that I've been working at for over 10 years now, and then working the snakes. And so it's taken a lot away from my career, which is, I'm okay with it right now. It's not financially sound, but it's definitely what we needed to do for us to be able to manage this many animals. I think once we get all the animals up here, it'll be easier for me to manage that all together.
So we're in Knoxville, Tennessee area. Mom and Dad are in the Montgomery, Alabama area. So it's a 5.5 hour drive every weekend for us one way. So we lose a day every week just in travel. So we try to take advantage of that and make some recordings and connections and emails and sort of work going down the road. But man, there's parts of Alabama, they just don't even know what 4G is. There's no bars in certain spots.
You said what part? And is that northern Alabama?
Montgomery, Alabama is southern Alabama.
Oh, the gum. Okay, the gum. Yeah, I went to school in Alabama, so that's why I was.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah. I went to Alabama A&M in Huntsville, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm definitely familiar with the gum. Montgomery and all that good stuff.
Montgomery's quite a hoof for us, but it's funny because we went to Slidell this last weekend, and Slidell, Louisiana is about an 8.5, almost 9 hour drive for us. And we're down in like southern Mississippi, almost getting into Louisiana. And I was like, boy, that drive wasn't that bad. I'm like, oh, we're so conditioned to driving so far that 8.5 hours that's bad when you've gotten getting used to sitting in the car that long. But no, I mean, I think ultimately, I mean, we're always going to be hognose people. And we definitely have, we had focused a lot of stuff on the ball pythons. This year was actually our first, what I felt like bigger investment year where we kind of purchased some bigger animals in the ball python world because we'd done so much of our investment in the hognose prior to that. And so we're still intending on our track. We have like some holy grail stuff, and we'd already bought into some monarch stuff that had more genes in it. And, now with Tom's collection, we've got certain things we're going to be working on in his collection. And there's certain things we're working on in our collection, but there's probably going to be some crossover happening to be able to complement both collections better.
We had hung out with Dad a lot, mostly her and him chatting about. So we know what he had on his radar, things he was trying to accomplish. So we're going to keep a THR, a Tom Harbin Reptiles line of monarchs going, so he can just keep that, I guess, like a pure strain going. But then there's a few animals that are kind of extras that didn't really have a place, and so we're going to mix that in with some of our things and see what we can come up with.
I mean, he had Tom got what he wanted when he wanted. That was just Tom, and so he has some, he has some pretty cool stuff, but he was still more of kind of old school, like puzzle, sunset. I mean, he was only crossing things over a little bit. And of course, now, as y'all know, it's a little bit more, a lot more stacking your recessives and stacking your codoms and getting into, triples and quads and all that stuff. That's kind of where the industry is leading. And so we're looking at doing more of that than maybe faster than what he would have done it. But we're also, that's what my mindset already was. Like I was looking, like I said, holy grail and like kind of extra genes on stuff. And so now we're just going to be able to do it a little bit with his too. But, we're wanting to put Monarch in with Sunset and Monarch in with Monsoon and those kind of things are stuff that we're already starting to work on.
The goal is to eventually buy the collection from Mom.
Yeah.
So we didn't inherit these snakes. We're just caretakers of Dad's stuff.
Yeah.
So technically Mom still owns all those snakes. She wants to have absolutely nothing to do with them though. She is not a snake girl.
No, not at all.
She's a wizard at
my house.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she's
tired. She I think she still has a connection to Dad through the snakes, and so I think it is a little painful for her. So we're going to try to focus on getting those things out of her hair as soon as we can, as soon as it makes sense.
Yeah,
I respect it, man.
I mean, she asked me like a few weeks ago. She was like, because she hates seeing us having to drive down there every weekend, and she saw me feeding the baby ball pythons, and she's like, "Do you think you could teach me how to do this?" I said, "Feed the baby ball pythons?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think I might be able to do it." I said, I think you could. I really do think you could, but there's some puzzle babies in there that just launch out of the cage, and I don't want her, dealing with that kind of stuff. I don't want her accidentally getting bit or feel like she did something wrong. And
if everything went smooth, she would crush it. But if one thing went wrong, she wouldn't know what to do.
There's a Partho clutch there that, they can be kind of weird anyway. And I'm like, some of these ain't going to make it. And I just don't want her feeling like she's got something going on, that she did something wrong. Because she's, if you took Tom, the most positive person on earth and always uplifting, and then you've got Sarah, there's a very different person there. Okay. She's the other extreme. And so it doesn't take much for her to get down on things. And so I just don't want her to feel the pressure of having to deal with that many animals. So our goal is to, like we did clean out our master bedroom a few weeks ago, and we've already got a rack set up there. We're going to move another rack up in the next couple of weeks. And our goal is to get now that the incubator's empty, get all the babies up here. And then we'll probably move most of the breeding, like things that are kind of pre-progressing up here and get them kind of established. Leave the ones that are kind of already past like 25 millimeters down there. Let them kind of go through their process.
We don't want to stunt them.
We don't want to mess them. We don't want them to resorb on us. And then that way they're the ones that we really want to go this next year we have up here. And then we're going to actually go like every 2 weeks, because ball pythons don't have to eat every week, especially if they're not in the middle of reproductive stuff. And so once we get that adjustment over the next week, couple months, I think we'll be only going every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was about to say, y'all don't have anybody that's close to mom that, like, that's a little younger that could probably help her out, help out.
Well,
There's a couple at church that their son's coming over and he's helping with the rodents.
Yeah.
And he's doing a great job. And he's 16 and he's just trying to get through it and get out of there.
Yeah.
Mom likes to repair and move the mice over here and shuffle this. She's a
shuffler for sure. Yeah. So, but
So-
that is helpful. But there's not anybody, there's people in the area that could help with the ball pythons, but I am just too much of a control freak. I mean, I'll just say it. I mean, I don't. There's still some powerful stuff down there that
you don't know people's intentions. Yeah.
And I don't. It's not that I don't trust them. Again, I don't want something to happen that then they blame themselves for, just because they're snakes doing snake stuff, And so I want to look at those snakes every week or every time I can to make sure that they're okay, that somebody hasn't rubbed their nose or that somebody doesn't have a rat bite that I missed or, that kind of stuff. And so
a lot of it's been us just having to learn his collection too. Like there was this weird thing with me, like that's dad's stuff. I don't touch dad's stuff. I don't dig around in dad's drawers. It's like I leave it alone. Now we're kind of having to reboot and
we still haven't moved some of the stuff that I know Tom had laying where he had it. It's driving me nuts because I'm like, why is this crap sitting here? But I can't move it because it's Tom's, and I'm like, I'm eventually going to have to just move that and get it out of my way. But it is a weird feeling to go down there and start rummaging through his stuff. And, but we're figuring it out. And it's been a learning process, but we really feel like we know the collection now, and we are in a better mindset of what we're going to do. There's a lot of animals that we don't need, but we're still, neither one of us are ready to figure out like what adults we're going to let go at this point. Maybe by Tinley, we might have some adults, like some nice stuff that really Tinley people could pick up, but I think it's going to take us that long to even figure out what we're wanting to let go and what we're not going to blend into other stuff. So
it's been a huge adjustment for you guys.
Mm-hmm. It's been crazy. Yeah.
It's been the worst year of our life. To say it bluntly, it's been a very tough year, but we're trying to see the silver lining in the clouds and move forward with this. Cause like I was talking to y'all pregame, like it was, Dad wouldn't want us just to sit around and cry and mope. So he didn't let things get him down. He stood up, wiped off the dirt, the blood, and kept going. So we're gonna do the same.
That's pretty dope, bro.
That's real. Like that's if you haven't experienced it, you'll never understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've had so much support though. Like we just like it just reiterates like why we were drawn to this community. Like how much support we've had emotionally, just everybody always being like, we'll be there, we'll help with whatever. And
so Mom was looking at the numbers. I don't know if y'all heard, but we've got a memorial scholarship for Dad instead of flowers or whatever. We got people donate to his scholarship. The Auburn University helped us with the scholarship, getting it set up. And it had to hit a certain mark of donations to be fully endowed, meaning the interest off of it would pay for a scholarship. So she said, most people take them a year or two to get this funded. Through the support of donations at charity auctions that was hosted by USARC, we fully funded that thing in 2 auctions.
Double. And
by the 3rd auction, we had doubled the minimum.
Yeah.
And Mom was looking at the numbers and she goes, where did all this money come from? And I'm like,
the reptile community.
The reptile people. Like they're that benevolent.
Yeah.
They take care of each other. Like when you hear of somebody losing, their house, people, donate and GoFundMe quick. So it's an extremely charitable community.
That's pretty dope.
So
we're excited because I think this spring we're going to get to award the first scholarship to a veterinary student down at Auburn University.
And it's got to be specifically somebody wanting to be in reptile medicine. And so we kind of have certain stipulations. So trying to encourage, those reptile people to advance, because we need more reptile veterinarians, as we all know. And so that's kind of a mark that I think he would be proud to have had, because he was teaching some of the reptile medicine down there, which was a huge thing for him. He absolutely
He
loved
was
it.
stoked. Man, he was stoked. He started walking around. So he was invited to be a guest speaker for the reptile club down there. And he was talking about ultrasounding and medicine. And after like 2 guest lectures, they invited him to be a permanent recurring guest lecturer. So he started going around telling everybody he was not an instructor. What do they call him? A lecturer.
Lecturer, yeah. He was
So what's your medical background? Do you find yourself, do you find anything that like the lingo in ball python, do you find that kind of clashing with the truth in terms of like incomplete dominant genes and codom?
It's hard for me to say codom. It is. It makes my insides hurt, but I know that is just the lingo. I get it. And so I've tried to adjust to it. And you still hear me say incomplete dominant, especially if I'm talking hogs. I don't know why. I guess because hog people use that more than ball people. And so I catch myself going back and forth. And it's so, to me, like when people come in and say, "Can you worm my dog?" So you want me to give them worms then? You understand? Deworming is the word. So that's one of my pet peeves. And so when I hear codom, it does get me a little bit. But I know that's just, I mean, I'm still part of the community, and that's part of the lingo, and I understand where that came from. And so
regardless of which word you use, you breed them the same.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about, and we know what we're trying to transfer back and forth information wise to each other. But the community really knows their husbandry. I mean, they really understand what the animal needs, maybe even better than some of the veterinarians that are out there that have never kept a reptile in their life. And I remember for years, I showed dogs for a million years, and that's what I grew up doing. And so I was kind of always in the middle of stuff. And I still do a lot of canine reproduction at the clinic that I work at. So I do a lot of reproductive type stuff. And I know when a dog breeder comes in with a specific breed, they probably know more about the breed than some of us veterinarians do. And so I feel like as a vet, sometimes those vets get kind of cocky, like they think they know everything. And it's like, they probably don't, because they've not kept that breed, or they've not kept that species, or whatever it is. And so we have to learn as veterinarians to listen to the breeders that are dealing with those animals all the time, in large numbers at that. And so that's something I don't think a lot of veterinarians take into consideration. I know Tom did, and I know I do, but there's a lot out there that just think they just know it all. It's like, y'all don't know crap.
I'm trying to look up the link so I can post it in the chat. I'm not ignoring you guys.
No, you good.
So how do you go about if you have someone that wants to purchase one of your animals and they totally want the animal, but they don't really know how to actually properly care for the animal? Do you coach them along the way, and later down the line say we can go back into purchasing the animal, or how would you go about doing that?
We're heavy coachers. And so we actually have care sheets. And a lot of times if I'm talking to somebody via internet, I will say, "Hey, give me your email. Let me send you the care sheet. I want you to look through it. And then we're going to get back together and talk about it." I've actually had people go build their tanks and get all their stuff together and then say, "Hey, I'm ready for the snake." And I prefer that. Now, of course, when we go to shows, you don't always get that luxury, but we will spend a lot of time talking to people, and we give them care sheets there also. So they have like a guideline that we go by. And then literally 15 minutes before we got on here with y'all, we got a phone call from somebody that bought some snakes from us this last weekend. And I know Josh wrote it down for them, but they called because they were confused about the size of feeders to give them. So we explained our feeding percentage is the percentage of the weight of the animal, yada, yada, yada. And that person, you could tell, just understood it at that point. And so we helped them kind of get a better, more direct amount to feed that animal. And whenever we sell an animal, I tell people, I said, we're not done with you. And every time I tell you, you contact us, you send us a message, you whatever you've got to do. If there's a problem, I want us to be the first to know. I don't want you to just go run off and Google it, because God only knows what they get themselves into with that.
As a veterinarian, you've experienced that a lot too.
It drives me freaking crazy, the crap that people come up with. And so we're pretty adamant about coaching people up. And I think we haven't really had any major issues. And I think probably because we do openly coach people through the whole process. And we also help people figure out what species they want. Sometimes they come up, they're like, we're thinking about a corn snake, but we're also thinking about a ball python. I'm like, well, what do you want to do? Or like, what kind of setup do you already have? And then we kind of go through like, who's going to be handling it? If there's like 3, 4, 5-year-old kids running around the house, I don't want to send a hognose home with those people. I just don't. Those little fingers are going to get bit. And so a lot of times we've had hognose people turn around and buy corn snakes or even ball pythons because it was better for the family. And, we've talked people out of stuff because we're like, this is not the right thing for y'all.
We don't need that $100 that bad. Like, I want them to have a positive experience with reptiles. And then down the road, if they're successful with that corn snake, they can step up to something a little more challenging.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
That makes sense.
So do you feel like, all right, so out of the 3, how would you rank them in terms of a kid comes to the table, it's his birthday, they got a tank sitting at home, they can purchase everything at the show that they want. How would you rank them in level of beginner, intermediate, and expert?
Corn snake, first species. Every time. So freaking easy. You could put it in a sandwich box or a 70 series, and that little sucker's going to eat.
Yeah, they don't care.
You can have your temperatures completely wrong, and they're going to be. I have no idea what the temperature is inside that tank that my 29-year-old corn snake lives in. I've never temp gunned it.
It's got an old heating pad from CVS up underneath it.
Underneath the bottom of it. And it's got its little hides and water and all that stuff. And I have no freaking clue. That is how easy they are. So then next rank would probably honestly be ball python. Mainly because of the ability to handle it easier than a hognose, especially if there's children in the household. Now, if there's teenagers or older, I may even push them towards a hognose before I do a ball python, because I think they can handle them equally. But I don't really like hognose where there's a lot of little kids potentially handling them. It's just it's a bite waiting to happen. And it's not like a bite, a bad, like a mean bite. It's this, that looks like a finger that I can eat, because they're just that stupid.
We get that question every time. A little 10-year-old kid goes, "Oh, can I hold your hognose?" And I said, "No, sir, no, ma'am. Your tiny little fingers look like a meal to them. They will try to eat your fingers." And they're like, "Oh." And then the parents like, "Really? Will they?" I'm like, "Yeah, probably."
That's funny.
It did not sound fun at all.
Man, there's people that keep hots. They've got venomous stuff, and it's like,
yeah.
I know hognose are venomous too, but it's medically insignificant for a human. Now, if I was a toad or a newt, I'd have a bad day.
I'd have a bad day on that one. But I mean, I do think corn snakes you're kind of like entry level. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
They're easy to handle. By the time we sell our corns, they're not striky anymore. I think that's probably the biggest downfall to corn snakes is when they're little tiny, they're striky. But by the time we get enough meals into ours, we've handled them a few times, they're not striking anymore. And so anybody can just pick them up and do whatever they want with them, and they'll just eat. And, they grow up to be reasonable sized snakes that aren't huge, that always eat frozen thawed mice, easy stuff to feed them and that kind of thing. And so I also kind of take into consideration, like if somebody is living in an apartment and they don't want to have a big setup, is a big ball python, set up too much, or is a little hognose that's never going to come out of a 10-gallon plenty, that kind of thing. And so we do talk about that a lot with people.
So what type of different setups have you all used? Have you used PVC? Have you used, I see you use racks. Have you used tanks? What's the best setup for a hognose versus a corn snake?
Yeah. Corn snake, anything PV, even the PVC enclosures are fine. The
with corns, the thing is the security of the lid, or how easily can they get out? Because if there's a tiny crack somewhere, they're going to find a way to squeeze
they will
through
get out. So even those like PVC setups that have like the acrylics that slide in the front, if there's a little bit of push, if they don't have a good thick acrylic on the front of that thing, those corns will get out every time. And so we always go like actually walk around with people at the show and say, do you see this? This is not going to work, or this is going to work. And then, or if they put them in an actual aquarium, they have to have like a latch lid on those corns. Now, hogs will push out of stuff too, but they can't necessarily get to the top of some of these enclosures. And I do usually recommend, of course, I don't have it in here, small PVC enclosures that have like a single door that flips up, not the slide doors. We usually have that set up at our show so that people can see to use that as a kind of a.
Yeah, we bought one just to show people. And every show we set up, they're like, hey, I want to buy that enclosure. I'm like, no, that's our demo.
But, we tell a lot of people in the beginning when they're still this tiny, you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get the 6-quart hefty clip top storage container and solder some holes in the top of it, and then you put a heat mat on the outside of it, and that's all they need. They'll need that for the first year. And so a lot of times people are pretty stoked that they can just use something really small. And I said, then once they're kind of starting to outgrow that, go to a footprint of a 10-gallon enclosure of some kind of, whether it's a PVC or an actual aquarium. Kind of depends on what they're wanting to do. Like if they're wanting to do bioactive, aquarium's a little easier to clean out, where the PVC is harder to clean. And we're not bioactive people. Like I actually just, I kind of bag on bioactive because I'm like, there's no freaking way we're replicating what is happening in the wild. I am sorry. You can put isopods and springtails and all that crap in there. It ain't cleaning up all that crap. You got to pick it up still. And so I'm not a big bioactive person, but I understand the premise of what they're behind, what they're wanting to do. They've got to have a container that they can clean out regularly. And I don't feel like PVC is the easiest thing to clean out. And so I think that's probably a downfall to the PVC, and also finding a heat source. I'm not into the, what do they call the heat at the top again?
Radiant heat.
Radiant heat. Yeah, I'm not into that. I like belly heat on these guys, and it's hard on a PVC to get the belly heat correct. I feel like so.
No,
why you don't like radiant heat?
I just don't think it does as well with the hog noses. Now, it may be fine with some of the other species, but it just doesn't seem to do as well with the hogs. So they're a purely burrowing species. And so when they get down in that soil, you're not getting that heat, where if you have a belly heat, it works a little bit better for them. Corns, again, like I said, corns, you can do whatever the heck you want.
Put a hair dryer on them. That'd be fun.
You just don't care. It just don't matter.
What you about to ask, man?
Is there a species that you guys have been eyeing or wanting that you haven't experimented with?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Just opened a can of stuff.
Starts with L and ends with Aegianus. Yeah. Every show we go to, she just glued to them.
I've been looking at lychees for probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now, and I can't make my decision. Oops, I can't make the decision to go ahead and get them. Boy, that thing just shit the bed, didn't it?
Are we still there?
I don't know what happened. We're gonna have to figure something. I'm glad we're doing this tonight because we got those damn debates tomorrow, and if this is happening, Chris would ream us. But sorry, was just doing it. But the lychee is something that's a 4-legged thing I want. And then I know Josh wants.
I want a panther chameleon of some flavor. Yeah. I've got a veiled chameleon now, and he is hateful. He bites us. He's just mean. But he's a cool pet.
Yeah, he's old. He's not much longer for this world. So
I just saw a reel about chameleons earlier today. That's so funny that you said that. But the chameleon that I saw, it only lives in the wild anyway. It only lives up to 4 months. Like its entire life is 4 months.
That's too short for me. My God,
that's the lifespan. But it's in the wild too. So I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, like in 2 months, in 2 months it's fully grown. According
Good gosh. Do you know what species that was?
I'll see if I can find it again. I think I liked it. I have to see if I can find it. I'll send it to you if I find it again.
Huh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's no time. You don't even know if you're doing anything right with that.
Bro,
Well,
not only not only that, it's like your whole lifespan is in 4 months. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, like what are you actually
That's
getting
not much
done?
time.
Well, and like we actually had tricolor
What's up,
hog
Benji?
nose at one point, which are completely different than the hog nose that we have. So tricolors are like even a different genus, and they're from South.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
You hit the wrong button.
I think they. It's,
Yeah, they definitely making me not want to hog nose.
Bro, I didn't know they bit that much. I had no idea they bit all the time like that.
Bro, all the time, man. I did not know the whole time you got them, you getting bit up.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
that's
like
amazing.
it, Jay.
Hey, now I really
had
think
to rip.
we'll really be
Had
looking
to rip.
into they said
Appreciate it.
all of them you see they're eating. Now I'm gonna really be paying attention.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. They kind of got me interested in wanting to get a different species too, though.
Yeah, so
Just not
somebody,
sandbows.
somebody on
Don't even-
TikTok, I
I
asked
don't
them,
think that sambo is catfish for real.
man, listen, I was talking to
What's good,
somebody on
Benji?
Hi,
TikTok,
Benji.
and they breed
Shit said.
sandboys, and they said they the most docile snake you can possibly own.
They are, bro. Like even one of the shows, I said mine is just a wild caught sambo. I didn't get mine from a breeder.
I
Where
don't
you get
believe
it
you.
from?
I got it from one of the pets. I got it from a pet store, bro.
Okay.
You make it seem like you got it out the backyard.
Right.
Shit.
I got it out the woods
Like,
of
what are you
Georgia.
talking about?
Listen, the way that shit be acting, you would have sworn I got her from the damn backyard. She be mad as hell.
Nah,
He
for
picked
sure.
up
I went,
a piece
listen,
of wood in the
Stores
yard.
aren't
Listen.
great, so I could see why it's mad.
You said what?
I said pet stores aren't great, so I could see why it's mad.
No facts. No fact. And that's the thing though. Like I think and that's the thing. I was about to get a different one at the time, but then I found out that they also eat their they'll eat the other ones too.
Their mouth is
all
that
this
big.
cannibalism.
So they'll
It
eat the
is
Actually,
middle.
bro, they can actually make that. They can actually Brian got me weak as hell. That because you don't see the mouth because the snake be looking like this type shit. They eat rats, Brian. I feed them rats.
Bro, they eat air.
The air
That
snake,
shit is
man.
crazy.
You got air snakes.
It's just a derpy
Brian,
looking snake.
you need to stand up and do your Jesus dance.
Huh?
He got a Jesus dance.
Yeah, you remember the picture we took?
When he was in the snake room like this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, Brian did like this. The camera was coming
So-
closer.
Completely different camera now, and like my computer is overheating. Like I have no
wow.
idea what we've never
Let me
had.
see the-
Sorry,
let me see the
guys.
camera.
This is
Let me see the
crazy.
camera you got.
Man, you
Okay,
got
It's
So Logitech Brio, it's a
Yeah.
4K something.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
It looks similar to the camera I got. That's why I
Yeah.
said that.
so now we're on just our regular camera here,
You
but
can see the difference.
yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
definitely
not as good.
it's not as good, but it's for some reason it's like it's overheating my computer and everything. So it's kind of weird. Who knows? Technology drives me nuts. So
It has a
It's all
mind of
good.
its own.
Yeah.
So do y'all ultrasound the hog nose and
Hmm.
use
Oh,
ultrasound
no.
all the things?
No, we don't ultrasound the hog nose. And Tom and I talked about that a couple of years ago. None of us had ever tried it. And part of it is
I
just
hate holding.
getting them still to do it. They're such a pain in the butt to deal with as far as like managing them. Because I'd have to be feeding them while I was doing it. And then that would only give me like maybe a minute to ultrasound them. And then I'm not even sure what I'd be probably just verifying follicles. But because they're so very classic, brumate, wake them up, feed them, and they're probably going to ovulate within 2 to 3 weeks after we do that. And then you just get them bred and make sure that you don't miss that ovulation. I've heard of like people waiting until like an ovulatory shed and then they have a bunch of slugs. It's like, Well, you don't know if they're going to shed or not. Sometimes they shed in brumation, and that's their ovulatory shed. And we've actually had girls come out of brumation weighing more than when they went in. And I think that's that follicular swell that's occurring. And so it's more about the timing of getting them out and making sure you get some breedings in before you miss it. And so we don't have to really worry about ultrasounding or looking for follicles and trying to figure it out. And there's not really seasons like different, like I know ball pythons can kind of go in groupings, but you can spread that out over a whole year with ball pythons. Where hognose, we're slamming it. April
corn snake's
through
the same. Colubrids
June,
are very
just bam, bam,
seasonal.
bam, bam. They're just popping babies out. So
Do you have to brumate them?
technically no, but what I've found from talking to people is when they don't brumate, they have inconsistent clutch timing. And then those are the people that all of a sudden have a clutch randomly in November. Like when, that's out of nowhere because they really did not ovulate on that trigger, and they have smaller clutches and they have more slugs. And we actually feel like the males benefit from actually going into brumation also. It's something to help with their sperm quality. And so you don't have to, and I know people that do okay without it, but this true successful brumation, the breedings are from brumations is how I see it. And plus just timing wise, you know what you're getting into.
Right.
So do you guys try to like transfer that over into the ball python? So y'all gonna try to transfer that concept over into that?
No, I think
we kind of wonder if transporting them from Alabama to Tennessee might sort of synchronize them a little bit.
Yeah,
we've heard that some people have had luck doing that.
Yeah.
We're just going to kind of watch it and see if it happens. We're not going to try to make it happen.
I feel like, I don't know if y'all have noticed it, but when I talk to people with strictly ball python collections, they do go in groups. They seems like the majority kind of grow around each other. And I don't know if that's some kind of pheromone situation or something with the environment that person is, I don't know. I mean, but you hear people going even like having big parts of the year, like why are they seasonally so different? So Tom's, of course, everything was happening in June, July, and August. Everything.
Same time.
All the same time. And then like our friend Brian Carter, like he just went through his pile of crazy. Then like Shane with Small Town is just now getting into his. But so it's not seasonal, as far as like our seasons. So why are they all grouping together like that with that particular person?
Shane's in Tennessee too.
Yeah, Shane and Brian, we're all like, it's a 15-minute drive from our house to theirs, so it's the same environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say that too, because I had 12 clutches this year. 7 of them came in 1 week.
Yeah. So what is that? And that to me, that has to be something with the collection as a unit. Syncing up or something. And I don't know if it's something we're influencing that we don't see, or if it is pheromone triggered.
They say that about women.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And if you work with enough,
the same way.
Yeah, you work with enough women at the same time, we're all synced up together and just a nightmare running together, and so and dogs do it, horses do it, and so it's like you kind of wonder if that's what's going on with some of these collections, and I don't know. I don't know if anybody's researched that or not.
That'd be an interesting research topic for real.
I would think so.
I'll pay attention to it again this year. The only reason why I noticed because it was like so overwhelming in 1 week.
Yep. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Did you do anything different? Like, did you do a temp drop or anything different that could have triggered it, or do you know?
The only thing I did was upgraded the racks.
Interesting.
That's the only change.
That's kind of
get him more space. You get him more space.
Oh, what's that?
I was saying you basically just gave them more space.
It might have been.
Yeah.
Or if that triggers like a migratory
like
sensation.
some kind of something. And Shane, when he moved from California to here, he kind of had the assumption that they'd all kind of like skip. They all synced up and went. And it's like the trigger of moving got them in process, and then all of a sudden he had a big year, and then now his girls are kind of in a lull again, and he's got less of them.
I know on the dairy farms, they would load up a bunch of cattle in the trailer and drive them around town to synchronize the females. So
yeah,
I mean, there's definitely some tricks out there we can figure out.
We'll put all my females in the car and drive around and see.
Drive around.
I was telling them the other day. I was just telling them the other day, my everybody's follicles is like 10 millimeters right now, and I'm like, all the females that I'm checking, they went early last year. They went early last season, so I'm just like, y'all should be about ready all over again now. Yeah, but eating like they ain't never been fed a day in their life. But I don't know.
We've got a bunch hovering between 10 and 15. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Just, maybe they're helping us out and we don't even realize it, because then we can move them. Go ahead and move their butts up here and see what happens. But,
that's interesting.
But I think there's a lot of things that we just don't get. So we think we know.
Yeah, we think we're in control.
I'm going to definitely pay attention to it this year, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm ready to see what a lot of people are doing this year. Like, because, it's so many different genes out and so many new genes that's coming out. Have y'all been interested in anything like this? I know y'all said monsoon earlier. So, there any other like ball python genes y'all want to get into besides like monsoon, DG, and stuff like that?
Well, there's a gene that I feel like we have missing. It's Mandarin, but I don't want just a Mandarin.
That guy down there got some good Mandarin now.
Super Mandarin.
Hold on.
Probably with some clown in it, because
go get the arrow.
There's that guy right there.
The guy without a bird.
Mandarin is like one of my biggest projects.
Okay. I'm gonna go digging around in your stuff then. That's something I think we want to get into our gene pool. We've got the monsoon, we've got the puzzle, but we got to do some combinations.
Awesome. Yeah.
And so
that came from a generation where if you had two genes in something, you were just
that's what you use.
Yeah.
And we're wanting to. I mean, we have already paired some monsoon stuff to some monarch stuff, and we've paired some sunset stuff to monarch stuff. So we're pairing a lot of stuff to monarch, but probably our next level is taking the monarch clown stuff and adding DG into it also. That's kind of the next process, because we've got a lot of DG clown stuff that I'm like, not that we're not doing DG clown. It's just we want to branch it into something else, and the monarch is the right way to go in that situation. One of the projects we worked on before all this was we did a lot, have combinations with our G-stripe clown. And so now we want to kind of cross over more of that and get more of the DG and enhancer and that kind of stuff blending together. And so I think it's just going to be a lot of blending of stuff and continuing to work our holy grail that we're wanting to work more on.
We've got almost 800 mouths to feed in the snake world right now. And it's hard to justify going out and buying more.
Yeah.
We'll get something else, but we've got a lot of good paints.
And we have bought a few more things in the last month and a half. I mean, we haven't just shut ourselves down, but
dug in his collection and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot for us to manage, and that's where we're trying to work between the collections and try to, like, his most powerful female is going to probably go to our most powerful male, because we just can't find anything in his collection that we feel is right. And so we're going to use our boy. And, I think there's going to be more of that happening, because we actually bought a lot more Codom stuff than Tom had. And, we bought into like Nyla, that with the monarch stuff, we bought into some of that from Canova.
That'd be different.
We want the super form, and we like stripes, and so we're trying to like pull a stripe back in, not just with G stripe, but with other things. And so the super Nyla has a striping process. We might get furrow built into it with some clown added. I don't know. There's little weird things like that we're wanting to add. But we like orange, as y'all know, and so Mandarin is on our list. That we don't have between either collection. And so I think we're finally starting to get to a point where we can kind of regroup. And we're fortunate that between the two collections, we're pretty okay with our hognose. I mean, like I said, we imported stuff with the Swiss chocolate. And so we're happy with the genes that we have. Now it's just building more together and combining the genes in our hogs. But the ball pythons, there's so much more out there that we can get ourselves into. We both love hypo. We've got hypo stuff. And so, but we want like hypo puzzle, we're hypo puzzle with pied, that kind of stuff. We want to stack that stuff up and, more and more combos.
Makes sense. So have you guys, I know you have the hot with the hog noses. Have you guys had ever imported hog noses before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how we got the Swiss chocolate stuff, because it was not here. It was in Switzerland.
That was nerve-wracking watching that little tracking go overseas, then to California.
Well, you're also wiring money to some guy that doesn't speak English in another country. Yeah. It feels funny. I tell you, it's not. Yeah. It's like, what did I just do? And so, really awesome guy though, and it all worked out. Tom was just very confident about it. He's like, oh, it'll be okay. And I'm like, okay, this is a lot of money for us. And so, but it worked out, and we very, very fortunate that pair went this year and produced some really badass stuff for us this year. So we're pretty stoked about that. But I
wish Brian was one of the judges on the 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I was feeling this. You get some hyper.
Brian is an orange fiend. He's a orange fiend.
Oh, that's some good. I love it. I love that. We both love
Scrambler in either of the collection? Scrambler, do you have that yet?
No, that's another one. Like OD Scrambler combos. Boy, I'd love to see some Scrambler. Yeah. That is definitely another gene that I've looked. Actually, I was on Morph Market like 2 weeks ago looking at Scrambler stuff.
We didn't know we were signing on for the reptile market tonight.
Yeah, man. That's the orange king, the orange god right there.
None of that's leaving.
Yeah, I'll go dig around. And that's the thing, is trying to find Scrambler. I mean, the only place that's selling it, is up in Canada right now. I'm like, I have to freaking deal with getting a CITES for all this stuff. And it sounds crazy because we've imported stuff from Switzerland. It's actually easier to do that than it is from Canada. It's cheaper.
I wonder what it is.
It's just, it's Canadian situation as far as, I don't know why it's so much more of a pain. But when we did the Switzerland import, it was like $420 for shipping over here. And we just split it with Tom. And
that's nothing.
That's nothing when you think about how much they ship. And so they shipped it over. There was no paperwork we had to deal with, but they shipped it all the way to California because that was the importer. And then they shipped it over to Memphis, which is like the center of hell, as everybody knows when it comes to
the center of hell.
And then they shipped it down to Montgomery.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, but it was, that was the most nerve-wracking part, is just waiting for the animals to get to us. And then we're open to shipping out of the country too. A lot of hognose stuff is back and forth between Europe. So, and even
how does that work?
Yeah, you end up having to go through, there's an exporter up in like New York area, and you ship it up to them, and then they kind of carry it over into Europe. And then they usually end up syncing it up with one of the big shows like the Ham or Hooten or one of those, and then they disperse them at that point at those big shows. And the same when they import them in, it's usually a big grouping of them over there in Europe that are at those shows. They bring everything in. The exporter there gets all the stuff, gets it repackaged, and then they ship it over to the importer over here.
So it's a bulk shipment. There's a ton of things in that box.
And it usually only happens like, twice a year, depending on,
That's what I was about to say. Do y'all not, hypothetically speaking, like, did that not make you worry sometimes? Because, like all kind of different things that they got going on in the python world or just snake world period, as far as like, bacteria, mites, stuff like that. That don't scare you sometimes, though?
The mites don't scare me. Mites are fixable. Now, things like Nido and Crypto, freaking a nightmare. But
scary.
It's just crypto. We just are not hearing it as a big a problem over in Europe. And so usually when they still package those things, they're still like in their groupings, even though they're coming in like a big container. They keep them in their own little segregated areas. And so they're a lot more. It's not like those big shippers. Oh God, we saw that happen a few years ago where they actually import in those big crates from
and then
some
put all the
place and they
snakes
caught
together or
wild
something.
caught and it's just dead stuff in crates. It's nothing like that coming
Stuff
from
getting
Europe.
loose, running all over the floors.
We saw that nightmare one time. We could smell it before we saw it. It was pretty freaking bad.
They delivered those crates right in the middle of an ongoing snake show. That blew my mind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there was like lizards coming out, running all over. God only knows what they were, because I think they said it came from Egypt and it flew into maybe Miami and then to Atlanta, and they went and picked it up in Atlanta, and then they brought the crate to Chattanooga show of all places, and started opening the crate, and it was rough. It was bad, but that was like true wild caught mess of stuff. They've probably been in there for 2 or 3 weeks, honestly, in that crate. So coming in from Europe, when you're dealing with those exporter importer kind of situations, they're doing everything they can to keep all those animals kind of in their own little segregated area. So I don't worry about that.
I wonder, do they at least give them like water or something? Or they
usually spray them, they spray them with something, or like the water, they mist them, or they even put like misted towels in there. So honestly, just keeping them humid, just them breathing that humidity is a little bit, they don't necessarily have to drink it. But that's a lot of times what they're doing at those kind of, it's a weigh station almost, like where they go in and they double check all the animals when they've come over on the plane before they ship them out to the next location. But it's fast. I mean, I know with our hogs, it was like 4 days they were in shipment, and that's not bad. That's what we would do on a show circuit. We'd load them up and go and then be gone for a couple of days and then drive back. So it wasn't like a terrible amount of time if those animals were in those shippers. So.
Yeah.
So with that,
I know Tom imported ball pythons from Europe, monarch stuff. As far as I know, those were kind of also kept segregated because Nido worries me way more in that situation. But he had those like separately shipped in specifically from that breeder to the exporter, shipped right over. They didn't come in like groups with that one.
So what does the exporter do? You said that they check over them. Are they checking to make sure that they're alive, or are they checking to make sure that
they usually have to check, make sure they're alive. If there is paperwork involved, depending on what country they're going to, they're making sure all the paperwork, the CITES and everything, if that's necessary, especially if you're going to deal with Canada, they're going to have all that paperwork done, and they usually rebox it. So it's in a specific shipping box that's more for international shipping. So like if I ship my red line to the guy, he's going to repackage it into his own packaging system, but not the animal. The animal stays in its little container. Yeah. They don't take them out of there or anything like that. It always has their labels on it and stuff, the same that you would just ship into another person.
Gotcha.
They may redo the heat pack if it's necessary, or a cool pack if it's summertime. They may upgrade your pack if it's already been in there for like 48 hours.
Okay.
Gotcha. So how many shows do you plan on doing a year, or how many do you currently do a year?
Too many.
We don't really sit down and plan out the whole year, but we're averaging one a month.
Yeah. And I think it's averaging because there's sometimes we do 2 a month. But right now, I think we're on the books for like 12 next year. Now, will that be forever? We're not planning on being like road warriors. It's just right now we felt the push to get out and kind of be at some of the shows that Tom had been at.
We're wanting to reconnect with the community too. I mean, we've just been meeting so many cool people every show we go to, and they'll come up and tell a story about how they met Dad or how he sold them a snake. And so, man, that's worth it. Just for the trip alone, just to go meet these people. And it's cool to see their collections, and put a face to a name.
Yeah. But I mean, like right now, we're doing the Southeast Bob Boo's,
I'll see y'all out here in Atlanta.
Yeah, we'll be there in Atlanta. And then we'll do Tinley, and we'll do Dallas and ARBC. And we're also doing the Charlotte ARPE. Yeah. That's the one that Troy and Nick are are overseeing, and they've done a great job. Daytona's in the summer.
In RBE.
The Daytona show. We also just like I said, we came back from Slidell, which is Herp's show, and we'll probably do the Slidell in the summer and the Slidell in the December again. And then there is a local show here in Knoxville that we're probably going to do in January. It's it's close, it's easy. It's more pet level, obviously, but we've got pet stuff to sell too.
It's kind of nice to do a show and not have to get a hotel.
Yeah, just go to bed. But that's more of just kind of getting some pet animals out, get them out kind of. And then the other thing we're getting ready to start doing, which I'm not really sure how it's all going to go down, but we're doing that Palm Street auction. I don't know if y'all have seen that yet, but we've gotten.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we've gotten our okay, and we've got to do our orientation and get our first date set up. So that should be different. I don't know how that's going to go down.
Yeah. That's why we had that camo software installed on this computer, because we were wanting like a visual screen and then like the top-down camera screen, have like dual cameras going.
We're just not going to be able to pull that
off. But then we found out you can't do that through Palm Street. It's just like one camera only. So
if you don't mind, I'd like to touch base with you after you do that call and see how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like on the mobile.
And we probably won't do hognose on there right out the gate. We'll be doing the ball pythons and maybe some corn snakes, but because there's some states that require licensing to own, and there's some states that are just illegal to own hognose. Technically corn snakes too, but I don't worry about them as much.
I don't know if they worry about regulating that. Are there like illegal plants that you can't sell? I mean, I don't know if Palm Street has anything in place.
They got, I don't know if they got anything in place, but I know there's a lot of illegal plants too.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of them. They'll have like a disclosure. Yeah, they'll have like a disclosure in the notes. Like if you're in this state, you can't bid this, then all that type of stuff. It's like
I need to go find one of those and just see how they worded it, because we can't. I'm not going to ship to Colorado and those kind of with the hogs, and so. But we'll probably run a couple of ball python ones first, and see how they go. Get a flow of it before we talk about doing the hog nose. And we just don't worry about offloading the hog nose. I mean, look, they don't take up any space. Who cares? We'll sell them at a show, but the ball pythons, they grow. They start taking, they're like, we're shoving them in their containers. I'm like, y'all got to go someplace else because we're going to have to move you up. And that's probably the first ones we want to try to work on, getting a little less numbers. So.
No, that makes sense.
Nah, that's pretty
what about the actual? Oh, I was about to say, so what, I know you said you like lychees. And I'm trying to remember what Josh said.
He's a chameleon.
I'll take a panther.
Chameleons. Chameleon. So besides, are those the only two species that y'all did want to own besides what y'all got there?
Well, I mean, I would take a Cape file snake. I'd like a Cape file.
We just hate to have to feed it snakes. I hate to buy a snake that you feed snakes.
But we found a breeder that is using, they did not have to do snake feeding with those. And they actually have them on rodents. And the other one is a vine snake, rhino.
Oh, that's really
and then I found out, because I kind of hesitated with them because I didn't want to deal with lizards. But again, we found another breeder that is doing fine on rodents. I'm like, you know what? I'll take one of those if I don't have to deal with finding lizards to have to feed it to. So
that makes sense.
But
I would love to have like that trophy room where it's one of each species. We've got the big facility where it's the balls and hogs and corns and stuff, but the one room that's just like the show off room would be a lot of fun.
Kind of the cool stuff that we're not. I mean, like everybody, when I talk to them about leechies, they're like, "Oh, you need to get this female so then you can breed her." I'm like, "Well, I'm not even certain I'm breeding leechies." It's like we've got enough on our plate. I just want a big squishy marshmallow that I can walk around with. So,
I understand that.
It's gonna be my pet.
Yeah, just sit on my arm like a big blob. That's what they do.
Yeah, when I was at the expo, I seen the lychee in person. Like I seen them on YouTube and stuff. When I seen it in person and I held it, it literally feels like a marshmallow. It
was a little weird feet.
It molds around you.
Yeah.
It's definitely pretty different.
I like how slow they are. I mean, I guess because I'm chasing hog noses and corn snakes all the time. I'm like, I just want something just slow and blobby. I mean, I know I've got ball pythons too, but
They'll strike every
They'll
now and
strike
then.
every once in a while. We've got a few that are kind of intense. But no, that's, I guess those are, like, if I had like snakes, you know, snake ones, rhino, snake, and Cape File are kind of two that, and I've looked at rosy boas. Those I'd probably breed. So,
yeah.
So that's a little bit more of I'm researching them more on their locales and that kind of stuff to make sure if I get into them that I'm breeding them correctly and I'm putting the right locales type situation together. I don't want to mess that up.
I was going to say,
who is this guy?
I don't know who that is, but he's trolling. But I was about to say, go ahead. What you about to ask?
I was going to say, growing up, I remember watching Dad. So Dad never took me and Ben, my brother, to the snake shows. I think the snake shows were kind of his escape. But I remember every so often he'd come home with some new thing, some green tree pythons or a caiman that we kept in the tub for a month till his buddy could come pick it up. And so we saw all the weird stuff growing up.
Well, y'all had stuff getting Burmese up in the attic and stuff at one point. Didn't you got loose?
Yeah, we had a big
Dylan.
big Burmese female that got out of the cage, and she broke the metal hinges off the cage and got out downstairs, and we couldn't find her. And she had gotten up in the ceiling of the basement and wrapped around the hot water pipe.
Yeah, and that was fun to get out when it.
So wait, so how did y'all like narrow that down that she was on the hot water pipe?
That basement had drop tile ceiling, and one of the tiles had just scooted over just enough to make a little wedge. It was displaced. When Dad saw that, I bet she got up there. So he got on a step stool with a flashlight, popped his head up above it, and he said her face was just 4 inches away from his nose, and he about fell off the stool. But she was right there. But she saw the heat.
In her enclosure, Dylan. If she
was
would
over
have
it.
stayed where she was at.
Yeah, she was happy up in the ceiling. So, but
that's crazy.
I'm glad Josh got all those like weird he have like Amazon tree boas and like he had all kinds of stuff back in the day. So he got to kind of experience all that. And although I think some of those are beautiful, it's probably just probably not our speed. I get bit by those little things. I don't need something with bigger teeth
fangs,
that take me out.
Those things stick to you.
I hear that.
It said, "Don't fuck the girl."
Open.
No, I hear that. So
what's the most exotic animal that you had to work with in your line of duty?
I remember when you called me in at the vet. So when she was still in vet school, they did a lot of work for the Tiger Haven. So it was like a lot of lions and tigers. And I remember they said there was a tiger on the table under anesthesia.
We had to get a tire. It eaten part of its tire. Like there was like tire things that they played on out in their enclosure, and it eaten the tire. And we had to go in the stomach and get the tire chunks out of it. So that one was pretty crazy. And like being able to like touch its tongue while it was under anesthesia. Of course, its teeth are just massive. And have you ever felt a cat tongue? You know how they have those little bristles on them? Like on a big tiger tongue, those bristles are huge. They're like there's like you're just scooting across them. Those and we worked on a bear at one point. Again, another surgery that we had to do. When I was in
camels.
Llamas and camels. Then when I was in practice, when I actually worked for a guy who did exotic stuff, we worked on a few like smaller exotic cats that were really unusual. And, nothing too crazy there. I used to do like vasectomies on sugar gliders, like weird stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Back in the day. That's like microsurgery. Like my hands are too shaky and old now to do that. But I used to do that back in the day. But now I work for a guy that we just do dogs and cats. And so I don't really see anything very exciting there anymore.
Just the people.
Yeah. But going to the shows now is kind of my fix to see like more exotic stuff. And I try to like keep myself where I'm not too much of exotics vet. Now I do help a lot of people. Like I, kind of recommend medications and that kind of stuff. But if it's something like hardcore, I usually recommend them to a veterinarian that I used to work with that does still do a lot more exotics than I do. So.
Dylan was asking, have you ever worked or seen Borneo Ellis monitors?
I have not. I actually have not done a lot of work with monitors. I mean, we've got friends that have monitors, but I've never actually worked on one. So
Yeah.
You have to go to his page. That thing is freaking. It's literally a mini Godzilla.
Oh, really? That's a big monitor then. Dang.
No, it's small.
Oh,
It's
it
actually
is?
small. Yeah.
The little one?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
But the way
It
it
just-
moves and
it-
everything
It walks
vicious.
like that.
Yeah, it's
That's
a little
cool.
vicious little thing.
Thing's crazy.
Yeah. We have a friend that has some dwarf monitors, and they're kind of fun to watch to go feed. He gets the dubia roaches out, and those things just like kind of leap through the air and grab them and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of cool. That'd be fun to have. I mean, you know, another creature to have to feed something different, but those are, we do like looking at them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Nah, that's
Nah,
right.
for sure.
Oh.
For sure.
If y'all had to give anybody that was coming into the hobby, like new breeders or new keepers, one, and you could do one each, but one main thing of advice, what would you give them or tell them?
What would you say?
Get the pet that you want. You know, I think a lot of people try to justify, well, if I buy this, I can breed it to that, and it makes sense to do this. But you know, when you first start out in this hobby, you are drawn to that visually attractive thing that makes you go, ooh. And I hate when people lose sight of that. They try to turn it into a business, you know, where they try to make it make financial sense. It's like, and it's real easy to get off the track of what raises your eye.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I remember like people bagging pinstripe, and I'm like, I still like pinstripe, okay, you know, but that doesn't mean you have to get rid of it. You just throw it in DG or a Xanthic, or you know, you put it into other stuff. You can still have it, but you can build up on it. You don't have to just get rid of it because it's not like the cool gene anymore or whatever. And so
at these shows, the people who don't have any pets point at the pieballs and the bananas.
Yeah.
They love them.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with
there's
that.
nothing wrong with still enjoying what your eye enjoys. You can still enjoy it, and you can still make it a marketable business. And I guess probably for me is make those connections with people. Do not hold back. When you're at a show, go talk to people, go get connected with people. You will learn so much more, and you will have that basis to help you. You'll have those friendships to help you hash it out, like, you know, coming up with breeding plans and stuff like that. I don't think hiding breeding plans always makes a lot of sense. I think you need to kind of work it out with people, have those ideas, and those friendships to me are more important than anything else in this community right now. And then in building on those and teaching each other and helping each other. So
I respect that.
That's real.
Definitely some good advice. Dylan was also asking, would it be okay if you picked your brand after the show? We would like some recommendation and emergency for beds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have no problem. Just send me a message. Like usually I'm best with Instagram DMs. That's kind of the thing that I see the most. I'll do Facebook, but I sometimes miss those. But yeah, no problem. I may not answer tonight because I'm had the longest freaking day ever, but I'll definitely get back to you.
I hear that. So before we go, you know, I'd like to conclude the show with you guys walking the plank. Just a series of like hot, kind of like, you know, so if you've been on the More Forward show, they have like hot seat. So it's kind of similar to that, you know, a series of random questions that Banner is going to ask you guys tonight.
Oh boy.
So everybody else is going to slide.
Stretch a little.
Let's stretch, get warmed up here. Let's see what she's going to throw at us.
Sorry. Okay. Try to find my notes.
Your notes.
Are you more of a glass half empty or half full kind of people?
We're half full.
I'm half full, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you guys like to listen to? Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite band, like if I can only listen to one, is 311.
I'd probably say the same. We're 90s grunge, new metal kids.
Yeah, 311. But we do listen to a little bit of metal. We hate country music.
Yeah, anything but country. Or pop. Or pop country. That's what modern country is pop.
Yeah, that's not our style.
So, who's window seat and who's aisle seat if you guys ride on a plane together?
I get what I want usually. I prefer the window so I can kind of look out and take a fresh breath, but sometimes I'll let him have it.
Yep,
Who drives
how that
more when you guys are traveling?
We're very specific. So on mission to the show is Alicia. Mission back to home is me.
Yeah.
So
We're half and half, but
Yeah.
I'm getting us there and then he's getting us home. For sure.
the biggest fight we ever had was I took a left turn when I should have taken a right turn because the left turn is more efficient.
I about killed him.
She was hangry.
I wanted my food. He went the wrong way.
I thought she was going to sugar glider me.
How dare you? City or country?
Country.
I assumed, but I still like to ask.
Yeah.
Where's somewhere that you guys would like to travel you haven't been?
Galapagos.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure.
Do you prefer YouTube or Instagram?
Ooh, that's hard. Probably YouTube because I get more information from them. Like I'll learn stuff.
Yeah.
If you could time travel, would you go to the past or to the future?
Oh, that's a hard question.
That's tough.
I'll probably go to the past and say something to somebody that I didn't say. Something like that, probably.
I'd give anything to have one more day with Dad. I definitely want to go back and see him one more time.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. Animals or people?
Oh, animals all day. All day.
They don't lie.
And the last one, soda or pop? What do y'all say where you live?
It's Coke.
It's Coke. It's neither.
It's neither.
We call it Coke.
It's
everything is Coke.
Yeah.
We get bubbles. It's Coke.
They say that at the restaurants here. Like, what kind of Coke you want? You're like, Sprite.
They literally ask you that. Like, we don't say pop or soda.
That's funny. I've only had one other person answer me that way.
That's funny.
I was about to say they gave us that Holly response. Holly said the same thing about Coke in Texas.
Coke. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, Holly would say Coke.
I said that was so different. I said okay, but
what do they say in Atlanta? What do you say in Atlanta?
Soda?
Pop or soda?
Soda.
Really? You don't say Coke there? Huh.
That's where Coca-Cola is from.
The Coca-Cola factory is here, right? Yeah.
Confusing.
Nah, we call Coke a Coke, actual Coke a Coke.
We know it's wrong, but that's just what you say. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
I see. Well, maybe I'm in Greece. I'm somewhere else. But that's different. It's different, but it is what it is. But no, on a serious tip, I am definitely appreciative of you guys coming out and kicking it with us, man. Y'all have been great guests.
Thanks for tolerating us through all of our technical glitches. That was a challenge.
No. That's cool. We always have technical issues every week anyway. Because
I guess you got 5 people, 5 entities. It can happen. Yeah, it makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, so it's cool.
It's usually DJ.
Leader of the pack.
Yeah.
I'll take that. But no, I definitely want to give you guys your flowers and definitely shout out to your dad, man. He was definitely a pioneer in the game, and he definitely did, a lot for this hobby. And and now it's like, he passed the torch on to you guys, and just seeing what you guys have been doing, and just keeping his memory alive is pretty dope. And I definitely commend you guys for that. I want to give y'all flowers for that. And I definitely appreciate everything that y'all are doing, and definitely appreciate how y'all are keeping everything going. For sure.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We've had a great time. It's a lot of fun, and getting to meet new people. It's that's what we love too. So this has been perfect.
I've got to get me a shoulder chicken.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he can send you one because you know there ain't too many people with those all black chickens. Them chickens are
That's pretty
hot
crazy,
commodity.
man. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty dope.
Well, thanks for supporting us on this, and
Yeah.
and then you know, of course, we got to give a plug. We're still in this 15 minutes of lame craziness, and so anybody that wants to vote for us, we're obviously down in popular vote. We're working our butts off on the other side, though. We're in debates tomorrow night, so if y'all get a wild hair, you want to watch the first debates. That's at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, so that should be interesting. We don't really know what's going to happen, but.
Okay.
So that's fun, but yeah, we're having a great time. Anybody ever gets to try to do it, it's a lot of fun. So
it is.
Yeah, Brian did it before.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had a good old time. He had a good old time.
Well, we know we're not good at marketing. Like we can raise animals and we can go to snake shows, but we were horrible at Instagram and YouTube stuff. So we knew this would force us to get better, and it's taught us a lot. So we're coming out a winner regardless of how we place.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's
what I felt about it too. Like, because when I entered the contest, I didn't even have a name. Like,
oh wow, you went full in, yeah, man.
Yeah, I was brand new into it, so it helped me out tremendously just by giving me a little exposure.
Perfect. That's awesome.
And I fought like a dog in that thing too. Nobody knew who the hell I was. I placed like 5th in the popular vote.
That's still great. That's
cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
I mean, like, you know, we're running 4th right now, and I'm okay with that. Like,
No, you're not. Don't you lie.
I'm not okay with that.
every day reminded my friends that aren't reptile people to vote.
Yeah. Yeah, constantly.
That's where a lot of my votes came from.
It's a lot of hounding people, and you know, we probably haven't done a good job. And we will send like a post to friends and family like every 3 or 4 days. So we're probably not doing as good a job. But then they come back and say, "Oh, we've been voting every day." I'm like, "Okay, well, they've already been doing it," or they say they're doing it. And I think they are. I mean, we're still holding our own, but I don't know how some of these guys are getting the numbers they're getting, and that's cool. Like, more power to them. But we're just going to keep holding our own, and we're going to keep working it. We'll see how the debates go, and we'll see what the judges say. And hopefully bringing the belt home with us at some point.
2 belts.
We don't share. We don't share anything.
It's been my experience watching that projects have a lot to do with the final vote.
Yeah. I think it does. I mean, we know that the judges asked a lot about that, and I think our projects are good. We got 2 species that were heavy project, you know, and I think that makes a difference. And so we're trying to show our snakes and what we're working on. Plus we started a YouTube up in the middle of all this. We're like, why the hell? Let's do a YouTube. And so that's
been fun.
Yeah, that's been fun doing that.
Yeah.
And
vlogging stuff. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. And so that was kind of a new adventure, and we're going to keep going with that because we've had a lot of fun with it. And you know, we're hoping that adds some power to our boats and stuff. So,
are y'all calling what are y'all calling the YouTube?
Well, we just have it Herpin Harbins right now because we didn't really know what to like call it. So we've had segments. We've had champ chats where we interviewed each of the previous 15 minutes of lame winners, and we kind of did interviews on marketing. And then we have what we call industry insights, which we interviewed JT of Reptid Chip, Robert of Husbandry Pro, Robin from Redline, and then Sean Christian from RGI, and just basically more of the business side of how they've progressed through the industry and how they kind of got into what they were doing in their marketing. Because we feel like a lot, you know how it is when you did this competition is a lot about marketing yourself and your brand. And so we feel like ultimately that's what this whole challenge is who's the best at marketing. And so that's why we kind of focused on those marketing things. And so
that's pretty much what it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially the popular side of things there. Is a marketing. It's a marketing thing.
The whole thing is like you have to pretty much sell your brand.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And I think it does help you find your brand by learning how you need to promote yourself and how you want to represent yourself. And so we've done our reels the way it works for us and who we are. And so I think that's just kind of a learning process too. So.
One of Dad's sayings was, no one on this earth is coming to save you. You've got to fight for yourself.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's a real, who you going to be, the bear or the, never mind. It's a good saying though. It's a good saying.
Yep.
It's a very good saying. But before we go, if I give any final remarks, y'all got some merch y'all want to show off? Anybody?
Oh, it's still in the van.
Yeah.
That's a sweet shirt.
Manna has something special for y'all.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a real dope
And
shirt.
it's not slacking on that.
Yeah, nice.
Hey.
So you'll like Alicia's bringing in one. You'll like this.
Yeah.
We don't have these released yet, but we're going to.
So we've got this on the front side, and of course it's in orange and white. But then on the back, it says caretakers of Tom Harbin Reptiles, which is in blue because his colors were Auburn colors. So
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
War Eagle.
I know. No. I know it's War Eagle. I do it on purpose. Anybody from Alabama know how that beef go between Auburn and Alabama. Oh, yeah. And they always, man, all my friends that are from Alabama that are Alabama fans heavy, man. That's crazy.
Well, Auburn fans are the ones that actually went to college.
That's 100% true, right? Check this out. So, I actually lived in Alabama for 1 year, and I lived in Daphne, Alabama, across from Mobile.
Yeah.
And I have never seen literally a bigger rivalry in my life.
It's intense
when you live in Alabama.
It is very intense. Yeah.
It's crazy.
You literally pick a side.
From toddler up to retiree.
Oh, yeah.
The towns are shutting down for it, dude. Like,
yes,
yeah.
The Iron Bowl is serious, bro.
That's a big deal, man. Every year it's a big deal.
You know, and that's almost always a banging game. It doesn't matter what the rank is.
Ran back that touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh, he ran it back. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was crazy. I don't even know what I was doing at that time, but that was crazy. I saw that though. That was crazy.
I'll never forget that.
Those are fun.
Those are fun.
Let me finish showing off this merch real quick. Shout out to Princess Banner.
Nice.
That's cool.
I appreciate you. She ain't slacking on the back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Gang, gang.
Yeah, so I don't want Banner to say I ain't never show her merch off on the show. She might, beat me up. I don't want no smoke. Who you got on, B? Oh, hold on. And shout out to the Bomb Project, Bomb Squad. Oh, yeah. Y'all not a part of that Patreon. Y'all might as well come on with it. Don't sleep. All right, go ahead.
Same. And then I got on my exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
My cousin made this one for me, so it'll never be duplicated. Unless I ask him to, maybe I might do a giveaway for this one. But yeah, that's all I got today. Normally I got on the Walmart, but now today I want to
Where's the chicken?
Yeah, where's the bird at?
The chicken.
Dylan, you must be talking about Banner. Banner gave me a crazy look. That's crazy. And she even nodding her head and everything. Shout out to the star of the show.
Look at that. There it is.
Bro,
that's the War Eagle right there.
Look at it tweet.
Is that really the same chicken that you hatched?
Yeah, it's the same chicken. It ain't black no more.
That chicken got big fast, bro. Pause.
Man, look, I don't know. I just feed the daggone thing.
Listen to it. It's pissed.
It ain't messing with you neither. Brian, who you got on?
Just did.
Look at
breast cancer awareness.
Shout out to Brian supporting breast cancer awareness.
I don't think I'm slacking.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, you're not slacking.
Bump cancer. The camera, it just makes me so mad because it literally zooms in when it needs to and everything, bro. Like you didn't even
them around too. It follows them and everything.
Yeah, like it just knew. I'm gonna zoom in right here. I'm gonna do look. He's showing off now. We gotta get him.
Brandon don't know yet if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, once again though, definitely appreciate you guys for coming through, showing love, and just giving us a little peek into your life and just letting us see some cool snakes and ask you questions and pick your brains. Don't be a stranger. I definitely would like you guys to come back on in the future. Yeah, we'll definitely, try to circle back around and, check
I'm
in
gonna
on you
reach out
guys
to
and see
you.
how
I
everything's
think
going too.
I want a hog nose, but I mean y'all kind of like unsold me. So I might just get a
We'll coach you.
We'll coach you
We'll
through
coach
it.
you through it.
You once you have one, it's like you can't stop getting more though. It's like chips. You can't just have one. They're freaking awesome.
Oh no, they
Brandon's
bite.
really
I
bad
can
with
have
bite.
one. I can
Listen,
have
if the
one.
ball python bites him once, it's gone.
It's
Oh
gone.
no!
He's
No.
sensitive.
Oh no!
So
Slings it
If it
across
bites,
the room, huh?
if it bites, it take flight.
One bite
Oh,
takes
dear.
flight.
I guess you're a bird guy, huh?
Yeah, you're a bird guy.
yeah.
But that's the thing though. The bird was pecking him more than the snakes.
I know. I saw it sitting there eating his hair.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, sir. For real.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I'm gonna definitely reach out. I definitely want to. I want a super condor. That's the ultimate. Ultimate.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, you got the raptor gloves, don't you?
We do.
Who?
The raptor gloves.
Oh yeah, I definitely got
Yeah,
those.
fine. After that,
I don't think you can hold that snake with them gloves on, bro. I don't think. Dylan is wild, bro. Dylan is wild, bro.
oh my!
This is why I say Dylan. This is why I say Dylan is the ball python. He's not even he's the reptile hobby bully. Dylan is crazy.
That's the menace crew, bro. That's the menace crew.
Man. Yes, definitely a menace, bro. But I love him, man. He's funny. He's definitely funny. He's definitely a dope supporter. But yeah. Other than that, man. Let's see what else I got. What little announcements I had. Once again, just to let you all know, please hit the like, sub, and subscribe, and leave a comment.
Also,
we love that.
Subscribe to Herpin Harbins YouTube channel. They just started off. So.
Yeah.
Let everybody know where they can find you guys in case they don't know. I know you said YouTube, right? Let me blow y'all up, bro.
Yeah. We're just straight up Herpin Harbins on Instagram, and it's just Herpin Harbins on YouTube. And so we kept it simple because we're simple. we can barely remember what we're doing most days, and so it's straight Herpin Harbins.
Cool. Would you guys ever get a TikTok?
We do have a TikTok. It's not probably the most active thing. I mean, I think we've got over 500 followers now, but I've only posted maybe like 8 to 10 little reels. And we did a live with Constrictly Business a couple months ago. That was fun. I'm still not real savvy with it, and so I don't know what I'm doing while I'm on there. There's so much stuff happening.
There's a lot. There's 700 buttons on that screen.
When you're on a live watching somebody, you're like,
when you're on live, when you're on live, it's a lot. It's a lot going on that live. Look, we got y'all to follow that fast. Look at that, boom.
Sweet.
Nice.
Thank you. Look at the little birds in there now. Nice chilling.
He's dialed in.
On TikTok also, Brian can probably link you with a guy on TikTok. He's big on. He has all types of animals, and he has a show on Sundays. At what time is John's show? 5.
Oh, you talking about 5 o'clock on Sundays?
Yeah.
What's his name?
John's Creatures. I co-host with him on Sundays, and basically we just get people on there and show off snakes. We don't really talk too much about background.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just a show
off. Straight to the animals.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure out some kind of like clear tube or something we can put the hog nose in. They're tough. They're wiggle
hard to hold. And that we did a one like last week, and I got a hog nose out and just sprayed still on my computer. It's like musk all over the computer and everything. And I'm like, that's not what we're needing to do right now. They can just be gross like that sometimes. And so
see, I was unsold all over again. Unsold all over again. But yeah, the only other announcement I got is next week is the Christmas week. We do have a Christmas Eve show. We will be having a Christmas Eve special. Give y'all something to watch on Christmas Eve with your family. Come hang out with us. Come watch us on TV or wherever y'all put us on, the iPad, the iPods, iPhones. So we'll definitely do a face cams. Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, they said they tried to do that.
Just having like a little trap tub thing. Yeah.
We're gonna get that figured out. It's happening.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do a Christmas special. We're looking into actually giving away some things. Probably some credit. If anybody is interested in that and want to, donate to the special, just a fun little Christmas special to give back to the community, or even just build some more, bonds with people. If y'all interested in that, let me know. Reach out to me, holler at me. Let me know if you want to donate something. Whether it be merch, shirt, anything, just doing a little fun little giveaway, something similar to the 12. What was it? 12 days of Christmas, something
Oh
like
yeah.
that. So yeah, so it'll be something fun to do. Just get people involved. But and you said show and tell Sundays. But other than that, man, that is all I have for tonight. Anybody want to add anything before we bounce?
No, I just appreciate y'all coming
Appreciate
on.
you coming on.
Thanks, guys.
We
Thanks
feel,
for
we
having
feel the
us.
same. Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
We
Yeah,
had a
we
great
for sure.
time.
Thanks for taking your time to do this. I know
I
y'all
actually,
busy people.
actually learned a lot today about hognose that I didn't know.
Yeah, me too.
They are really a lot of fun.
They are.
Yeah, especially the super
My
common
daughter's
stuff
been
that would
begging me
pretty
for
dope
one, so we'll see.
We'll make it work. We'll find the right one for her.
for sure. Other than that, I am DJ, and this is Off the Plank, and we are about to be out like this here.